Speeding down the East River sounds like a great idea. Well, it might be a little chilly today. It's rather blustery in New York. Gusts around 50 miles an hour as the Mets choose their uniform of the day. They've got 7 of them, you know. John Neese gets set to continue his fine pitching and looking to get himself a win against the Cardinals. At Citi Field in New York, the New York Mets play the St. Louis Cardinals. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets play Game 3 of their series against the Cardinals. And watching St. Louis play is a chance to watch their Gold Glove catcher, Yadier Molina, known for years as the best defensive catcher in the game. But his game just keeps getting better and better in other areas as well.
Well, he's one of the best line drive hitters in the game. This is his 10th season in the major leagues. He came into his own really in his 4th year in 2008 when he broke the 300 mark for the first time. Since then, has hit over 304 of his last 6 seasons. Only 407 strikeouts in his 9 seasons in the big leagues. That's outstanding. And really a great clutch hitter. And what is you don't see in the scorecard in the morning or the paper the next day, one of the best situational hitters in the game.
And not only that, but while he brings to the table his throwing, his blocking, his defense, Ronnie, he also has those great relationships with his pitching staff.
You know, I hate to say it, but us pitchers, we need a little TLC once in a while. And that is what Yadier Molina provides. He's the kind of catcher that not only calls the pitches and calls the games, but every single pitcher who has come to minor league, from the minor leagues to the major leagues, say it's easier to pitch here with Molina as your backstop. He's just a special player for a special team.
And one of those young pitchers on the mound for the Cardinals maybe had as good a postseason as any rookie has ever had, Michael Wacha.
So this weather tonight is not going to be a big problem for Wacha because it feels like October weather, and none better than October than Michael Wacha last year. He just was dominant, pitched with 2 pitches, a fastball and a changeup, which was enough for the time, but he's brought back a curveball now, so the Mets will have to contend with 3 fine pitches.
John Neese makes his 4th start of the year for the Mets, a hard luck loser to the Braves his last time out.
You know, Jonathan Neese did not have spring training like the rest. Really had to pitch a lot on the backfield. You didn't know what you're going to get in April when Jonathan came back. You've got to be very happy. He has been outstanding, throwing strikes, going after the hitters. Could use a little more offense tonight to help him get past these Cardinals. On
a night when every fly ball will be an adventure, a blustery night at Citi Field, it's the Mets and the Cardinals. All the action coming your way tonight right here on SNY. State Farm. Today's State Farm agent of the day is Pat Cawley of Glendale, New York. Contact Pat's office at patcawley.com. By McDonald's until May 7th. Buy one Big Mac sandwich, get the second one free at participating McDonald's. And by the Hyundai 100,000 Reasons event, now through April 30th. Get to Citi Field this Saturday when the Mets take on the Marlins at 7:10 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive a replica Mets batting helmet, courtesy of Wise. For tickets, visit Mets.com/tickets. Time for tonight's fan photo of the game, the AT&T fan photo. Tweet or Instagram your photo using hashtag SNYFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown later tonight during the game. Here's today's drive around the majors. Lots of day games today. Evan Gattis, 2-run pinch hit double in the bottom of the 8th. Braves beat the Marlins 3-1. The Diamondbacks on the 100th anniversary of Wrigley Field. The Cubs blew a 3-run lead in the 9th. Diamondbacks got 5 and beat Chicago 7-5.
How appropriate.
Perfect, right? Martin Perez, back-to-back shutouts for the Texas Rangers, 26 consecutive scoreless innings, and he is now 4-0 as the Rangers beat the A's 3-0. John Neese making his way in from the bullpen, getting ready for his 4th start of the season. Still looking for win number 1. First pitch is coming right up.
Jonathan Neese has been, I think, outstanding since coming back from spring training. Had that strange place where he went and got a couple MRIs. Both of them, thank God for the Mets, were negative, but the low ERA, and he's going against the ball club that has been struggling against left-handed pitching.
And the Lexus Metropolitan defense, Kurt Neuenhuis in center gets a start. The two corner outfielders remain the same. Tejada back in the lineup, had a day off last night after the first game of the series. He made some spectacular plays in the field. And the same Travis d'Arnaud behind the plate, who's starting to swing the bat better.
Cali That's my nickname for Travis d'Arnaud. Cali.
Cali?
Yeah.
Southern Cal?
He's a Cali kid.
Long Beach. Matt Carpenter leads things off for the Cardinals. Ronnie referenced that the Cardinals have really struggled against lefties. As a team, they're hitting 180 against left-hand pitching, the lowest in the majors. They also have the lowest on base and slugging percentage against lefties. And Carpenter takes a strike, and we're underway.
So Matt Carpenter, no gloves. Ever did you wear gloves?
Well,
Was the weather
ever
so bad that you had to wear gloves?
It made me concentrate more to make good contact, Ron, you know?
Yeah.
But boy, if you got it off the end of the bat, it was murderous.
55 degrees at game time, but the wind gusting to 41 miles an hour coming out of the northwest. And Keith, when you're in the field on a night like this, what precautions do you take? What extra vigilance can you have when the ball goes up in the air?
Well, number one, you've got to always get some grass, throw it in the air, see which way the wind's blowing, because sometimes the flags are deceptive. You remember at Shea actually look at the flags now. That flag is above the left field fence, blowing from Manhattan east to west, but the flag over. There's a base hit right there. Excuse me.
So Carpenter leads off the game with an opposite field single.
A lot of times the wind comes in and swirls, so it can be entirely different than what the flags are telling you.
You don't need a weatherman.
So you know what? You don't take anything for granted, Gary. You get to the ball quickly. You don't time it. You get under it, and you use two hands.
So Carpenter has the first hit off John Neese this year by a left-hand batter. And now Mark Ellis sitting second in the order and playing second base. And he takes it down for ball one. Ellis 4 for 6 lifetime against Neese. That's why Mike Matheny moved him up in the order tonight. Matt Holliday waits on deck. Alan Craig behind him. These two teams have split shutout victories in the first 2 games of this series. And a big hunk of something. That's the pine tar rag that blew all the way to the third base line.
You were talking about being in the field. I don't want to give away any of your street cred. Would you put out little Hotties hand warmers? Would you put those in your back pocket?
No, that's for mere mortals.
Wanted one to Ellis. Hey, don't tug on Superman's cape. He's pitched to Jim his last time out, 1 run in 6 innings against Atlanta, but he had the misfortune of matching up against the red-hot Aaron Harang. Well, Harang did it again today, 6 innings, 11 strikeouts against Miami.
And he had a no-no for what? No, because he's had the no-hitters every single time out.
Not today, but he did have the 11 punch-outs. Neese comes up and into Ellis 2-2.
That's 22 punch-outs by starting pitchers for Atlanta in the last 2 evenings.
How about this? Harang now has 5 starts where he's gone at least 6 innings and allowed no more than 1 run. That's more than 9 teams. Strike 3 called. Ellis is caught looking for the first out of the night.
Fastball in. Tied him up.
It's real no secret to John. It doesn't really matter where d'Arnaud sits. Sometimes he'll throw to the other side of the plate. He's got a lot of movement. He'll cut it, slide it, sink it, change it, and there's that big overhand curveball.
Now Holliday, who had 3 hits last night.
This reminds me of the day in San Francisco in Candlestick Park where Eddie Lynch was pitching. His hat blew off, and the next thing you knew, it was against the fence in center field. I mean, within 3 seconds.
Here's your umpire crew tonight: Marty Foster, Alan Porter, Rob Drake, and the crew chief Jeff Kellogg, who had the plate last night, working at third. Well, there's the famous story about the All-Star game in San Francisco. Was it 61 or 62 where Stu Miller got blown off the mound?
He got blown off the mound, is right. I don't remember the year.
And
Holliday takes inside 2-0.
But this weather is kind of like, this would be a normal night at Candlestick.
Yes, it would. It would be
a normal night.
Which is why in the latter years of Candlestick being used for baseball, they played a lot of day games.
Yeah.
Because the wind would usually kick up about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So if they played at noon, they could usually avoid the worst of it.
And that's when they showed Horace Stoneham. They gave him the VIP tour of the site of Candlestick.
9 a.m.
9 a.m. in the morning.
Yep. 2-1 to Holliday. And it's taken low, 3-1. Alan Craig on deck. 61 was the All-Star game at Candlestick.
That was Mad Men days. You know, they would try to do whatever they could to get things past you.
No.
There's a strike. Well, I'm not sure whether the story about Stoneham seeing the site at 9 in the morning was going out or coming in.
Yeah, that's right. 2 martini lunch might have turned into more.
Carpenter not running. There's ball 4, and the Cardinals have 2 men on. Ronnie, how much of a struggle is it to pitch on a night like this?
It's hard. It definitely is hard. I think what you have to do, and your pitching coach, Dan Worthy, can help you with this, is that, listen, the hitters do not want to hit. They do not want to be out here. But the best way you can combat this is keep it simple. Don't try to throw everything in the kitchen sink early. Throw strikes, keep it down, work in and out. That's the best way to do it. To come out here and expect to be able to throw 4 pitches for strikes, not going to happen.
Alan Craig 2 for 9 in this series and takes a rip at a fastball, 0-1. Craig off to a rough start this year, hitting just 184.
He
Lifetime 300 hitter.
Does not look good at the plate at all. He's at sea. Appropriate with the Navy soldier officers in the background there. He's just been out in front, and he's been tardy. He's just in between. And you can see the expression on his face. He's fighting it. He's not comfortable.
Craig started the first 2 games of the series in right field, getting a chance to play first base tonight with the lefty Matt Adams sitting down. Two on and 1 out. Needs ahead on Craig, 0-2. And he hits it towards second. Short hop by Murphy. There's 1, and now they got the runner between second and third in the rundown. And getting back safely is Carpenter. So they get the force at second, but then Carpenter able to retreat to the bag. It's a 4-6 fielder's choice.
Well, Murph can't get there. Now, normally Murph would come and back up. Tejada's got to stay cover the bag.
I don't think Tejada knew that Murphy had short hopped that ball because he looked very confused. It was clearly a trap.
Yes.
Which, by the way, is not reviewable on the infield. It's only reviewable on a play in the outfield.
So what are you saying Tejada thought?
I think he thought that Murph caught it in the air and that he had a double play.
He clearly saw it, I think.
I don't know. Then why was he looking around to see what to do next? Carpenter was clearly the guy he needed to go after.
Well, he made a play towards third base.
After a while.
He's got to stay anchored. I mean, he looked to first to complete the double play, realized he wasn't going to get it, and very wisely went after Carpenter, but then vacated the second base.
So the inning continues.
I think Tejada was totally confused. He was in between, did he catch it or not catch it, and looked around to see if someone was going to give him the answer. He found no answer, and then half-heartedly went after Carpenter instead of getting the third out.
Molina takes one down the right field line, and that's a fair ball going to the corner, and the Mets will pay. Carpenter is in to score. Being held at third now is Craig. It's an RBI double for Molina, and the Cardinals jump in front 1-0. So the Mets' failure to turn the double play prolongs the inning, and Molina's double cashes a run in.
Well, wasting no time here, Molina. We talked about him as a clutch hitter. And the 2-out RBI, the toughest RBI there is, and he goes the opposite field naturally. He's a hitter.
Molina's 11th RBI of the season. He's now got a 14-game hitting streak. The Cardinals have the early lead, and they have 2 in scoring position for Johnny Peralta. Peralta in an 0-for-17 skid right now, 0-for-5 in this series.
I've written more stuff in my first inning here than you ever do.
Well, this is a huge out for Neese early in this game.
Well, Peralta's got a long swing. He's also 0-for-9 against lefties so far this young season. Tied him up inside.
Craig is at third. Molina at second with 2 down. A run is in. And Peralta fouls it off. 1-2.
It hurts, son. You darn right. Jeez, you knucklehead. That's cold out there.
Should have used your hat.
That ball bites you.
Just be in charge of the beers. Forget about the baseball.
Broken back grinder down to right. And he makes the low throw, handled by Duda. That retires the side. But the Mets blunder defensively, and it costs them a run. 1-0 Cardinals as the Mets come to bat. Plays center field with Eric Young getting the night off. Otherwise, the same unit out there for the Mets as they go up against last year's postseason wonderkind Michael Wacha.
Only time I ever heard that was about Robert Gordon Orr for the Bruins, number 4. You know what's great about Wacha for us and what we do? Last spring training, we saw him throw 4 innings in relief, and all of us looked at each other and said, boy, this kid is going to be up quick. Well, he was. He was up in the postseason and was outstanding. Fastball, slider, curveball, and change.
Toffolo coaches the infielders, trying to counsel on Ruben Tejada about what happened in that top of the first.
Well, it's just no, it's an unusual play and something that you got to think on the fly, on your feet. And Ruben is just being told he had to stay at second base. Murph was way over in the hole, couldn't get back. So those are instructions made on the big league level.
Neuenhuis leads off against Wacha and takes a fastball for a strike. Neuenhuis leading off for the 31st time in his career. He's had 13 at bats since being called up, 3 hits, so they all came in his first game. Wacha has been throwing that cutter. He looks like Adam Wainwright. He's starting to pitch like Adam Wainwright.
He follows him everywhere. Works very quickly.
He's right over the top, isn't he?
Yeah, he gets that great angle. That ball that he throws to the outside corner on left-hander down, looks like it's going to be out of the strike zone, stays true.
Wainwright is okay after hyperextending his knee last night. 7 scoreless innings. Strike 3 called, and Walker makes quick work of Neuenhuis for the first out.
Well, it's Payne. It's knee-high outside corner.
Outside third.
Right over the top. Strays a string too. Guy comes over the top. He's going to be true. You see that ball out of his hand. His fastball is going to be where it starts.
Now Curtis Granderson trying to find his way out of an 0 for 22 skid. 0 for 6 in this series. Walker misses outside, falls behind 2-0. Walker's only walked 3 batters in 26 innings so far this year. 3 walks, 25 strikeouts. And Granderson breaks that 0 for 22. Well, who needed a hit more than Curtis Granderson?
Well, 2 days ago he got a sac fly to win the ball game, and now breaks the string. A 0 for 22.
And what's critical about this, it's his first at bat, and it gets him off on a positive note. He's got 3 more cracks.
So in the mindset of a hitter, you get a base hit in your first at bat, you're like, it's going to be a big day.
Well, you're thinking I felt good in that swing and I got 3 more at bats. It's not like breaking out your last at bat, your 4th at bat, and you got to wait till the next day.
David Wright had a 12-game hitting streak in last night. Goes after the first pitch fastball. David 1 for 8 in this series. Mets faced Walker once last year, shortly after he came up. In fact, he got his first big league win here at Citi Field last June 11th.
What did Walker get for that great effort, Gary? He got to send down back to the Memphis Redbirds.
Turned out to be the perfect move. They kept him in reserve, brought him up, used him out of the bullpen a little bit, and then he took Shelby Miller's spot in the rotation in the postseason and was off the charts spectacular. His 2 starts against the Dodgers in the league championship series, 13 2/3 innings, no runs. He was the MVP of the LCS, only the 3rd rookie ever to win that honor. The other 2 were Mike Boddicker for the Orioles back in '83 against the White Sox, and Levan Hernandez in '97 as a rookie against the Braves.
Well, Boddicker 83 for the Orioles, right?
2 springs ago we saw him. Gary, was it 2 springs ago, Walker? We saw him when we were impressed
last year.
Last year, right? He's just pulling fastballs in right now.
Well, he's got the great changeup, but he's holding that in reserve early on.
He is establishing number 1.
Look at that. Anytime they compare you with Christy Mathewson, you're a pretty elite company. You're talking about over 100 years ago.
I told the Lions to try to find something in my game that we can say equates to Christy Mathewson. I don't care about the kind of gum we chewed, what we had for breakfast. Maybe we got the same grade in a math class. I don't know.
Molina got it off the bare hand, his throwing hand. Watch this.
Did he? I thought he got it someplace else. You're right, Keith.
The palm.
Right,
he's lucky it got him in the palm of the soft, meaty part of the thumb.
Speaking of someplace else, did you see David Price last night?
No.
Take one directly in the cup.
Oh, no.
Line drive. And he finished the game. Joe Mauer hit one right back at him. And he pitched a complete game. 12 strikeouts.
He's a man.
Tough guy. David. It's a good thing he was wearing all of his equipment.
What do we used to
some
call?
Pitchers don't.
What do we used to call that? Ron, you remember?
He's singing tenor for the opera here tonight in New York City.
We used to say he got his bell rung. Oh, well, it's baseball terminology, folks. Come on, have a sense of humor.
7th pitch of the at-bat coming from Walker to right. And David fouls back that high pitch. Well, Christy Mathewson's postseasons were in 1905 and 1911. 102 years later, Michael Wacha puts himself alongside.
Christy looks in good shape. Look at him. He's fit.
They were in good shape then. They didn't have that little ball to do the core work. But other than that, they're in good shape.
22-year-old Michael Wacha, first-round pick by the Cardinals just 2 years ago. And Texas A&M. 2-2, and the curveball got it. So finally, on the 9th pitch, Wacha strikes out right for the second half.
All set up by those fastballs he poured in there, Ron.
That is a straight downer.
And there. I'm sorry, Ron. Go ahead.
David's got to be expecting something fast.
That's out in front and full completely. It happens. And there is. Oh, we got to do the Cardinal defense, brought to you by Coors Light. Burgos. I always mispronounce that. I got 2 new outfielders out there. And I missed the infield. And there's Yadier Molina behind the plate.
That was awesome.
Hey, you got the catcher.
It's great.
You're all set. What you're trying to say is the only guy who matters out there is Molina.
Would you pronounce
Borges?
Borges. I'm stuck on something else.
Think of the.
He's thinking of the beef bourguignon at.
Le Bernardin. How about think of it more like the Borges from
the Borgias.
Yeah, that from the royal family.
Lucretia de Borgia.
There you go.
Victor Borgia, whatever his name was.
Now you got completely confused. Now you're going to the Danish route.
All right, enough.
Daniel Murphy 2 for 7 in this series. Chris Young would be next. Granderson at first with 2 out. Wacha quickly up on the count on Murphy 0-2.
This is a wintry sky and a kind of a wintry day.
When I used to come to Shea Stadium in the day to work out, these are the kind of days you get on a February afternoon.
This is the way it used to be in late November, early December, with the Jets played at Shea.
Oh yeah,
get those horrible swirling winds. 1-2, and Murph down on strikes. So Wacha strikes out 3 in the opening inning. After 1 at Citi Field, 1-0 Cardinals. Peter Borges leads off the second inning for St. Louis. Thinks about a bunt and takes up and away from John Neese. Borges acquired from the Angels in the deal that sent David Freese to Anaheim. Borges a speedster, but he has not hit.
Well, neither is David Freese, right?
Well, that's certainly the case. Borges is a lifetime .249 hitter. He's batting .190 this year. Just 1 for 13 against left-hand pitching. And he lines one to center. On comes Neuenhuis to grab it. One hard out. What a game they're having in Colorado this afternoon. The Giants have hit 6 home runs. The Rockies have hit 3. Hector Sanchez at a grand slam in the top of the 11th to put the Giants up 12-8. Justin Morneau's just at a home run in the bottom of the 11th to make it 12-10.
Wow.
And they're still going.
It's one of those Colorado games.
Michael Morse has 2 home runs in that game for the Giants.
That was a nice pickup by the Giants, getting Morse from Seattle. I felt. Now, Morse did not have that good a year at Seattle, correct?
No, certainly not what he did in Washington.
I like Morneau in Colorado, too.
It's sharply Murphy on the backhand. Comes up with it, and a close play, but Shane Robinson able to beat it out.
How did he fly down that line?
The ball spun Murph around, I guess.
Oh, that's a little bit of a stumble there. That did it. And he hustled down that line. And that's smelling the hit.
Tie goes to the runner.
It's 4-3 on your scorecard if I'm running. Hang with him.
If you're playing, are you cheating on that?
Yes.
Okay.
And also, see how Lucas's arm is bent?
Put it straight out.
Stiff your arm out. Get as far out as you can.
Now Waka. Waka has had 7 official at bats this year and struck out all 7, but he does have 2 sacrifice bunts.
Oh, that's career. Okay. I was going to say 0 for 7 with 7 strikeouts, and his batting average is 107. That's
well, for his career, yeah. 3 for 28. Bunts it in the air, and it lands foul. It's 0-2.
Jonathan needs, to me, this is just my opinion, would be about as easy as there is to bunt as anyone in baseball. You know, the balls, he's not tricking you. He's throwing it right down the middle, hitting the corners with a cutter or a little sinker. You can put your nose right in there. He's not going to throw anything up and in.
Now there's strike 3 called, so Waka fails to get a bunt down. And Neese has his 2nd strikeout.
Again, teams are always trying to find a way to get an edge. Now you can get an edge. Make your pitchers better athletes out there when they go out to get the ball on the ground or put the ball in play.
Now Matt Carpenter, who singled to open the game and scored the only run. The guy who led the National League in both hits and runs last year, takes a curveball in the dirt. It's going to be interesting as this year goes along to see if the Cardinals can come close to replicating their offense from last year. A team without a ton of speed, without a whole lot of power.
I think they'll really miss Beltran. I really do.
I think it was a mistake not to bring Beltran back.
I think that at some point they're going to have to. And it's going to depend on the injury factor. They have a kid in AAA, Oscar Tavares, that is supposed to be here right now doing his thing. This is a ranks last year, off the hook except for maybe home runs. But he's had ankle injuries last year that took him out of play. He's had one this year, which has put him on the DL.
Neuenhuis measures it, grabs it, and the side retired. So an infield hit and 1 left. Mets will come up in the bottom of the 2nd, down 1-0. pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Chris Young leads off in the home second against Michael Wacha.
Well, if you've been watching on the bench in the first inning, Wacha has poured 90% gas attacks on the hitters. Got to be looking for a fastball.
Also, anything in the air in the infield, outfield also, but more in the infield. If it's up in the air, it's one of those big league pop-ups. Everyone's got to help each other. The ball could start at third base and end up at second base.
And run hard. Might get a triple.
There you go.
Don't pull a Carlos Gomez.
Look at this wind.
I know.
We haven't seen anything like this in a long time.
Not this late.
This is candlestick.
It's like the British Open on a bad day.
Keep it low, laddie.
2-1 from Wacha. Chris Young hit one over the fence in left field last night that Matt Holliday brought back in. Helped save Adam Wainwright on the Cardinals. Tough night for the guys who wear contact lenses.
Yeah.
These things can shrivel up in your eyes. Just off the corner.
You end up having to put the eye drops in your back pocket. Just keep redoing it over and over and over again.
And Young is down on strikes, so Wacha has 4 outs, and they've all come via the strikeout. Well, as part of SNY Play Ball Week, it is Clinic Day. Today, 80 administrators from local youth baseball and softball leagues attended a field maintenance clinic hosted by the Mets ground crew here at Citi Field. The clinic was courtesy of Major League Baseball's Baseball Tomorrow Fund, the Mets, and SNY. This entire week, the Mets have been, SNY has been showing off their Play Ball Week activities, helping out with youth baseball in so many different ways.
It's coming way back here, right below us. There's a mad scramble for the ball.
I went over. Not over.
Al, did you get that?
Al's too busy. He's tired and miserable.
Al, you can't work the camera with your hands in your pockets.
One to Duda. It was just 4 for his last 21, hitting a .268 for the year. That very slow curve in for a strike, 1 and 2.
When the wind's blowing in your face like that, it's fun. You can really snap off a curveball. That ball starts his shoulder, just ends up on his knees.
If you throw hammers like that,
game over.
That's a wicked third pitch for Mr. Wacha.
Now the 2-2 to Duda. 5 outs, 5 strikeouts for Michael Wacha.
Someone gets Seaver on the line. Good fastball just up in the strike zone. You know how much discipline it takes, Gary, in the postseason last year? Whatever Molina called, he threw. He came a fastball, change-up pitcher. Never threw the curveball. So a weapon he had all of the postseason, never used by Yadier Molina because they wanted to keep it simple. Amazing.
Now he's broken out the curveball. He's throwing the cutter. Here's Travis d'Arnaud, 2 for 7 in this series. Takes a strike. Boy, not sure how often we've seen this in the game where you have these young pitchers like a Matt Harvey, like a Jose Fernandez, like a Michael Wacha, who have become the elite so quickly, all at the same time.
It's beautiful. I mean, that's the beauty.
Oh, there went the hat.
There's his hat. Andy Lynch.
Pick it up before it gets to the wall.
Come on,
let's see if Ellis can field it.
Come on, Ellis. He's coming up. You know what? He's a veteran.
He got it.
He's a veteran field. He gets down low. He's the ball in front.
This is so much Candlestick Park.
Yeah.
Whoop, whoop.
It's our best use of the super slow motion all year.
He's got a nice head of hair.
Nice moss there. Very good.
He's young.
Things change.
0-2 to d'Arnaud.
He's got a nice hook.
It's not pitched into the right-handers yet. I'm not saying he has to. Not yet. But he hasn't yet.
Walker struck out Neuenhuis to start the game. Gave up a hit to Granderson. Then has struck out 4 in a row. 2-2 now to d'Arnaud with Tejada on deck. I mean, he has shown a repertoire from 95 down to 71. And everything in between. d'Arnaud punches one foul.
So everything that's off the right side will go into the stands. But anything hit on the high and foul territory on the left side, you're going to have to stay with it, because if it's high enough, it'll blow back on the field.
It looks so far, just watching the papers on the field, as though we have a vortex swirling everything into shallow left center.
And just leaving it there.
Yeah.
That makes it easier on the ground screw in between innings. They can go.
Arctic vortex.
2-2, and the curveball misses. Full count to d'Arnaud. Well, about the only thing the Mets can claim against Walker so far is that they've seen a lot of pitches.
Fastball away.
And it's just outside, and d'Arnaud's on with a 2-out walk.
Very close.
Only the 4th walk Walker's given up in 28 innings this year.
Had to be, oh boy. I'll tell you what, if that's on a corner, that's knee high. Oh. Got to give that to the pitcher on. You'd want that.
Home field advantage, too.
Tell you what, if he rang me up on that, I wouldn't complain. I'd just
complain.
I'd go grab some pine.
Get your glove. That was Ruben Tejada.
The 3rd out, you would have walked out to your position.
Ruben 3 hits in his last 9 at bats to get his batting average up over the Mendoza line.
Poor Mario Mendoza. He was the nicest guy.
He's a nice guy, but he's sitting on a 200 for his career.
And he's immortalized.
He couldn't hit water if he fell out of a boat.
Fastball beat Tejada 1-1.
By the way, I heard something this spring. I don't know exactly what happened, but I believe he's the hitting instructor for some organization. So he's learned some since then.
Well, there are a lot of guys who never hit much in the big leagues who have hitting coach jobs.
Or ever played in the big leagues. You're right.
He don't look very comfortable, but it hasn't affected his pitching so far.
Keith and I had no experience up here. They allowed us up here to come.
1-2. Oh boy, up and in fastball. What's good is the wind has diverted. It was before the game. It was blowing on in from center field, folks, and so when it blows in from center field, it blows into the booth. But it's shifted now, so it's not so cold
for you.
Yeah,
as opposed to the people who are
that are here. They're in trouble, and the players are out there enduring.
Well, Walker's pitched 2 innings and he struck out 6. He's never struck out more than 9 in a big league game. He's well on his way. 6 Ks, no hat. Look, Ma. Audi A3. Third inning at Citi Field, 1-0 St. Louis. Mark Ellis leads off against John Neese. Ellis went down looking his first time up. It'll be Ellis, then Matt Holliday and Alan Craig for the Cardinals in the third. And the curveball misses outside for ball one.
Watching Travis d'Arnaud catch that little body of his, you know, when you usually have those big cumbersome guys, Gaddis, etc. They really a lot of body movement when they have to move certain parts of the plate. He has the ability to stay really calm and still, and I think that that in itself probably steals some strikes for his pitchers with the umpires.
2-2 to Ellis. Grounded to Tejada. Nice easy hop. And the accurate throw for the first down. Well, a certain consistency in the last 8 years in the World Series. The presence of the Cardinals or the Giants from the National League side. Giants won a couple of World Series in 10 and 12. The Cardinals winning the World Series in 06 and 11, and then falling to the Red Sox in 6 games last year.
I think the Tigres, the Tigers, and the Rangers were the teams that thought that they were ready 2, 3, 4 seasons ago. Tigers still might be, but were ready to have their shot. And you know, 2011, you can make the argument if Nelson Cruz makes a catch, the Rangers do have their World Series.
Well, I mean, twice they were down to the last strike, winning the World Series. Can't come much closer than that. David Wright gets in front of Holliday's ground ball, and this time throws it right on target to Duda for the second out. David's been a little short with his throws.
He has
in the early season.
He's been having difficulty with his arm. He's throwing more sidearm, Gary, getting that sinker back.
Do you think it has to do something with the cold? I mean, you have your hand in your back pocket. Your arm just doesn't feel as loose. And, you know, I don't know.
See right there, he did not throw sidearm there. He threw over the top, had a true straight dart right over to Duda.
Here's Alan Craig, and he hits one past the mound. Murphy's going to have to go behind the bag, and the off-balance throw. Duda with a nice pick, and they get him by a stride. Nice play by Murphy to run around this hop and get that throw on target on a hop. Nicely done on both ends. 3 ground ball outs for Neese in that top of the third. Got by Murphy's fine play, and Craig is out, and so are the Cardinals. begins. Instant replay, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. So many things I could barely get them all out.
You're just so amazing the way that you can just totally adapt to the app and the hashtag and the dash and the dot.
You're saying I'm a modern kind of guy?
Yeah, you would have been maybe a character that was intercepting things on the radio and figuring out the codes. Might have been that guy.
Could have been Galileo.
Yeah.
Cardinal outfielders are.
I had you as a code breaker. You went straight to Galileo. That's a jump.
And I was trying to segue into the outfield defense. Very shallow out there.
Meanwhile, John Neese has already drawn 2 walks this year. Has the 3-0 count. And he takes a strike. Jones had that knack for finding his way on base.
Remember that pinch hit triple he hit? Triple?
Yes.
How many years ago was that?
Well, you got 2 pitchers strikes there. What I mean is pitcher on pitcher crime there. Neither of those were strikes.
But that wasn't. And Neese draws another walk. So he's only had 1 official at bat this year, and he's now drawn 3 walks.
So the weather has got to have an effect here. You mentioned $59 million in that Mega Million jackpot. You mentioned how many walks did he have coming in?
Waka had just 3 all year.
Is that enough for you in Downtown Abbey? Downtown Abbey to take care of yourself?
If I hit that, I'd be riding that horse over the next into the sunset. Me and Clint Eastwood.
John Neese had the jacket almost blow away from him before he was able to finally get it secured. Better zip it up all the way, John. It's that kind of night. It's not nailed down. Nieuwenhuis took a call 3rd strike his first time up, and Kirk with a late swing foul.
One of the reasons I would never wear the jacket on
watch this
on first base. You see that John can't get his arm in it, and Tom Goodwin has to help him.
See, Tom's got to be a gentleman and help the gentleman on with the codes.
The Mets codes 30 years ago were just so ugly. You didn't even want to wear them. They were just awful.
So it wasn't a macho thing. It was a fashionista thing.
Yeah, both.
Well, Nieuwenhuis, after his big first game in Arizona, where he had 3 hits including a home run, has gone 0 for 10. And now finds himself in a 2-strike hole against Waka, who's already struck out 6.
The hard part, isn't it? You bring up a guy from AAA, he's red hot, and you put him in the lineup one night, he produces, gets 3 hits, and then he doesn't see the light of day for a week. I mean, if I could tell you how many times that happens here with the Mets.
Oh, big hook.
Foul tip held by Molina. So 7 outs, all via strikeout for Waka.
This is a 12-6, Ronnie.
Got no chance. This might be better than. He's got to hate that I say this, but he's injured, so at least he couldn't run after me. Wainwright.
It's as good as Wainwright. It's as good a hook as Wainwright's. Absolutely.
So now Granderson, who has the Mets' only hit, he snapped an 0 for 22 skid with a hard single to right his first time up. Curtis takes a good cut. 0-1. Waka, 7 strikeouts and 2 1/3. If you're wondering, 9 strikeouts in 3 innings has been done 6 times. 9 strikeouts in the first 3 innings of the game. Anderson thinking about a bunt. And Carpenter playing back.
That is the 3rd time that he has thought about bunting here in the course of this young season. Uggla made the terrific play on him in the Braves series.
Two now to Curtis. Well, the Cardinals making the most of their first-round draft picks over the last decade.
I'll say.
Causa 2 years ago. Shelby Miller back in 09.
Lance Lynn's the guy that no one ever talks about. He's 4-0. Cosma becomes, a kind of backup shortstop.
Strike 3 called. Granderson is caught looking, and that's 8 strikeouts for Waka. And he has a chance to join that very select list.
This is a down and in hook, and if a pitcher can do that every day, you're going to have a very difficult time running.
It's like little league pitching, isn't it? If it breaks, it's going to be a strike.
Just completely ties up Curtis. Wicked.
So now David Wright will bat with 2 out, and he's still at first. 9 strikeouts through 3 innings has been done 6 times in history, twice in the last 2 years. Alex Cobb did it last year. Aaron Harang did it 2 years ago. The others to do it: Mickey Welsh, that was back in the 1880s, Herb Score, Don Wilson, and in 1986, Sid Fernandez.
Don Wilson threw bullets.
2 no-hitters, right? There's a curveball for a strike, and he's got a great one tonight.
Well, he has the wind blown right in his face. So the wind blows in your face, you feel like you can throw any curve at any time that's going to have a huge break.
First time through the order, remember, guys, poured the fastball in. Second time through, Uncle Charlie.
0-2 to right, and he bounces one just foul.
Uncle Charlie's your bad relation, trust me.
Like drunk uncle?
At the best. Uncle Charlie's the bad relation. I had a bad Uncle Charlie too, from Newfoundland. Newfie. He was, I can't go there, but he was bad.
Again, the 0-2 to David, and he goes down swinging, and Michael Wacha has become just the 7th pitcher in history to record 9 strikeouts in the first 3 innings of a game. Awfully impressive. Ties his career high in strikeouts and only takes him the first 3. Where's he going from there? Has taken care of the Mets over the first 3 innings with 9 strikeouts. Molina takes a cutter for a strike. Molina drove his double down the right field line. Now has a 14-game hitting streak.
Change up there from Jonathan. You don't see a lot of those over the course of a ball game. Look at Molina. This is as bad as Candlestick could ever be.
Yep.
Interesting how he's wearing a long sleeve shirt, undershirt on the right arm and the left exposed. He always got the padding there.
Drives another one down the right field line, and this one goes just foul.
It's almost like I'm not going to try to pull it and get it where I break the bat or an inside of my bat. I'm just going to go with the thick part of the bat down the right field line.
Molina, then Peralta and Borges for the Cardinals in the fourth. Just watching the sleeves and the pant legs ripple makes you cold just looking at it.
Right.
1-2.
Well, there was a day that you wouldn't see that. Guys wear their uniforms so loosely nowadays. In our days, they were as tight could be. You would never see the rippling. But today, it's
double cuts.
Yeah, double knits, double cuts. Worst uniform in organized baseball in the 80s.
With the pullovers.
That was the worst. The worst.
3-2. And it's inside, ball four. Molina's on with the leadoff walk. Second walk given up by Nice. So with Molina aboard, here's Johnny Peralta, who broke his bat and grounded out to third base his first time up. Peralta really struggling right now, 0 for his last 18. Signed to a 4-year, $52 million contract after a good postseason with the Tigers last year. And sparked outrage around some quarters of baseball, not just from fans, but from some fellow players for the contract that he was able to secure coming back from a 50-game suspension in connection with biogenesis. And certainly he wasn't the only one to get a nice contract. The Mets gave Bartolo Colon 2 years and $20 million after he was suspended in a similar way. Marlon Byrd was suspended for a different situation 2 years ago. Melky Cabrera, Nelson Cruz. Popped up near first base. What's the wind going to do with it? Duda stays with it. 1 out. Well, after the Peralta contract, it sparked some rather pointed tweets from some big league players, including the former Met David Ardsma, saying apparently getting suspended means you get a raise. Who's stopping anybody from doing it? Brad Ziegler, who's now with the Diamondbacks, says it pays to cheat. Thanks for encouraging PED use. Thanks to the owners. So I guess the question is, for a player who has served a suspension for PED use, or I guess for anything else, what's the protocol? What's an owner supposed to do if he thinks a player might help his team? Is he not supposed to sign him to a contract?
Who'd ever think that the owners would be more closely related with the ACLU when it comes to this issue? When you think about it, they don't care. They really don't care. What they come off as, we're doing testing and we're trying to make sure we do this or that, as board just pops this up. Looks like Todd is going to have it. Maybe not.
Oh, and he drops it. Now they have a force at second, and Wright walks the ball over to Murphy. So it goes as a 6-5-4 force play.
Thanks, Gary, for picking me up there. I was going to have a problem with that one.
Now, I know we're on a topic here, but I don't believe I've ever seen a win like this where we've seen a play like this where it's been difficult to catch pop-ups.
So what I was trying to say before, guys, is that lead runner Molina, there's no place for him to go. What can he do? Just hang out there and let him force you at second. That's how it goes. Go in and get your stuff on. The what I'm saying about the ACLU is that you know, when Peralta was signed by St. Louis, who was the most shocked? The Mets were the most shocked. They couldn't believe that he was going to get $52 million. They thought at some point he wouldn't get that kind of a contract. The reality is, once they've served their time, the owners are ready to jump on whoever they think can help their ball club.
Nice retires Robinson on a number. And we go to the bottom of the fourth. Cardinals 1, Mets nothing. Amazing. 9 strikeouts in the first 3 innings. Only the 7th pitcher in history to do that. He's done it with fastballs, curveballs, cutters. Daniel Murphy leading off in the 4th inning. Grounds a single through the left side. He's got himself a base hit. And the Mets have their 2nd hit against Wanda.
Well, Daniel doing the wise thing. He got a pitcher out there with a great rhythm going. Attacked the first pitch. The guy's got a curveball, a changeup, and everything working. Gosh, you can't let him. Can't get behind the count.
What was the German word you used before? Wunderkind. He really is, isn't he?
Well, tonight he's been off the charts. He's already matched his career high with the 9 strikeouts. As Chris Young takes a strike. We were talking last inning about guys coming off PED suspensions being rewarded with contracts.
Well, I think Ronnie pretty much covered it, but from my point of view, what I'm pleased there's a positive out of this, is a big ray of sunshine, is that the players are upset about this, and that it shows me that they want to clean up the game, and that's what I like. I liked all those tweets we read, and there's a lot more. So the players are really adamant about cleaning the game up, and that's a positive. It needs to be cleaned up.
And I'm with you, Keith. I think the players have a change of heart. Where it used to be silence was golden with the players. Let bygones be bygones, and now they want to try to compete on a level where everyone is the same. That certainly is not going to happen. It's a pipe dream if you think it's going to happen. There are always going to be guys that are trying to find the edge.
Chris Young hits a double play ball. Out at second, the turn by Ellis, not in time. Nice takeout slide by Murphy to make Ellis's life miserable.
Well, this is a difficult double play to turn. Long throw, very clean slide. Young runs too well. Chris Young, that is. All good. Like to see that. Good hard-nosed baseball.
The part about the PED suspended guys getting the contracts that I don't get is, are the owners factoring in the enhancement that those players had using PEDs and trying to figure out what kind of players they are without the PEDs before they start throwing those dollars around?
Of course they are. I think they're doing all of that. I think they're doing at some point you get called in a room, Gary. You're a former PED user, let's say, and you've had an all-star career. You are asked by the general manager, who's going to cut you a check if you answer it all in the right way, are you using them anymore? You have paid your sentence. Are you ever going to use them again? We need you on our team because we believe you project as a 25-75 guy who can hit 280 and have an on-base percentage of 350. Do you believe that's going to happen for you? Of course it is. Great. Here's your $52 million.
But what incentive does that player have to answer those questions honestly?
Yeah, correct.
There is no incentive. There is absolutely no incentive.
But I'm just talking about from the owner's perspective. Are they deluding themselves, or are they making sound business decisions?
I think that, well, they wouldn't make it unless they thought it was sound business decisions. What they're looking at is saying before biogenesis, Johnny Peralta played on a Tiger team that routinely went to the playoffs. That is what he's going to provide for us.
My question to you, Gary, is that players that have been exposed as using PEDs, are they subject to more frequent testing?
I believe they are.
Yes, they are.
Yes, they should be.
3-1 now to Duda, who struck out his first time up.
I think that the public tends to think that, and I think even players do, that this is kind of a fairyland thing, that, you know, the good thing is always going to happen. Goodness is going to come out of this game. It's not how it works.
Well, I think what would be interesting, and maybe it's already been done, and Duda's on with a walk. So the Mets have a runner to second base for the first time against Waka. Has there been any study done, anything definitive about the performance of players after they get caught and when they're presumably clean rather than playing with enhancements? Does the performance drop off? Do they generally maintain that same level of performance?
I think that would be a great study, but how do you know if they're clean?
Well, you don't.
There you go.
But I'm sure there's some internal statistics going on. The way there's so much stats in the game today, I'm sure internally organizations will have to look into it.
Here's Darno with 2 aboard. And he just hits one through the hole, a base hit. Young to third. He's going to be held up by Tim Teufel as the throw comes in from Shane Robinson. Scoots by Molina, but backed up by Waka. And the Mets have the bases loaded. So Tim Teufel being cautious with the 8 and 9 hitters coming up.
Nice hitting. We're talking about Darno swinging the bat better. That's beautiful right there. And I agree. Tuff made the right call here. You cannot have the hindsight's 20/20. The ball getting by Molina. If it's a perfect throw, as fast as Young is running, he's dead as a doornail at home.
You're right, Keith. The pitcher backing up. Shockingly, that the Cardinals are the team we watch. Were one of the few pitchers that does back up behind the plate. I would have sent him because of the 8th and 9th. That's what I'm thinking. Chris Young has enough speed to make it close. I know what you're saying, though, too.
So the Mets with a chance here. Bases loaded, 1 out. Tejada struck out his first time up. 3 RBIs on the year for Ruben. Young at third, Duda at second, Darno at first. And the first pitch curveball is fouled off. So the Mets finding a small crack in the armor with Waka here in the 4th after he struck out 9 in the first 3 innings, and now he is in need of a strikeout or a double play ball. Murphy and Darno with hits, sandwiched around a walk to Duda. Each team now with 3 hits on the night.
Surprised that Walker threw Tejada a curveball. Catch up to a pitch there, Ronnie, you know.
They're trying to maybe have him pull it down to the third baseman so he'd have a play at home. If there ever was a night to look for the strikeout for Walker, tonight's the night.
I guess the converse question would be, does striking out 9 in the first 3 innings maybe take a little bit out of you?
What do I always tell you? Don't strike out 3 in the first inning. It kills you. What it means by that is that you start to get in, just like a guy who hits home runs, you get into, that's the only way it's fun for you. It's to strike out people as opposed to acquire outs. Any way they come.
How about that number we just flashed up there? Tejada, career with the bases loaded, hitting over 400. It's a regular Pat Tabler.
Easy on Pat. Don't put those 2 in the same book.
Pat was a Met briefly.
Give me Tabler's numbers and Tejada's numbers. Put them side by side.
And now Waka struggling with his control behind 3-1 with the bases loaded.
I just really questioned the 2 breaking balls to Tejada to get behind 2-1.
Waka, who had walked only 3 in his first 4 starts combined, has already walked 3 tonight. And now behind on Tejada with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Comes the high, hard one.
And he walked him to force in the tying run. 4th walk of the night for Waka. Chris Young trots in, and it's a 1-1 ball game.
Well, we're really seeing the conditions are starting to affect Walker.
Well, good hitting too by the Mets. Guy with great stuff. Don't try to hit the home run. Murph leads off with a single opposite field. What does Darno do? A big opposite field single.
Jerry made a good point. It's like landing 5 punches to a guy's face and there's no knockout, and you keep trying to pummel and it's not working one inning. That's what's happening here. No strikeouts.
And now he misses inside to Nice. John drew a walk his first time up. We talked about his ability to be patient at the plate. Duda now at third, Darno at second, and Tejada at first with 1 out. That's a tied the game here in the 4th, and now looking to grab the lead. And now it's 2-0 to Nice.
Wow. Isn't this a funny game, huh?
Well, the other consequence of all this is all these pitches now that Waka has thrown with the 9 strikeouts and the 4 walks, up to 80 pitches with 1 out in the 4th. And Derek Lilliquist, the pitching coach, heads out to the mound.
This is like a 5 and dive kind of game for him. To me, when I watch him, what do you see, Keith? I see overthrowing. I see that he's trying to, it's not like he's aiming it, which is worse. but he's trying to overthrow it.
I got to believe it's just the conditions. He's fighting the conditions too.
Well, he has to be taking a pitch here, right?
Well, I was just going to ask that question.
Take two.
There's one.
Take one more.
I'd let John swing the bat. He swings the bat good. He's going to throw a fastball away. I'd let him swing.
Okay, take one more.
Outfield very shallow against East with New and Heiss on deck. And East takes a rip. And it's 2-2.
And you were right, in ball 3.
Wacha has struck out 9 and walked 4 in 3 1/3. And there's ball 3. He's already forced in 1 run with a walk. Now he's 3-2 on the pitcher. Yep, strike 3 call. Strikeout number 10 for Wacha.
Pumped him inside, everything away, and tied him up.
Boy, that ball's true, isn't it?
It sure is.
No waver, vacillation at all of that ball. Just throws it on a path and just stays right there.
John, it's all right. Don't worry. They pay you to pitch.
I asked someone about Walker's pitch and what makes it so difficult. The angle he throws it, the ball looks like it's going to sink out of the strike zone, but it stays true on that level like we talked about, and that's why he gets that called third strike so often.
Kirk Neuenhuis has already struck out twice tonight, looking in the first, swinging in the third. By the way, the most strikeouts through 4 innings ever is 11, which Wacha has a chance for. It's been done 5 times.
Alex Cobb in there?
Yes.
Yes.
That was last year. He had 13 and 4 1/3.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Didn't even finish the 5th.
The others on that list, Randy Johnson did it twice. Alex Cobb, Nolan Ryan, Zach Greinke. That's it. 11 strikeouts in the first 4 innings. Bases loaded, 2 down. Neuenhuis just hoping to make some contact and make something happen here. And Kirk takes the changeup outside, 2-1.
Well, that's interesting option right there. Throw a changeup. He hasn't hardly used it.
He's got a great one. He just left it in reserve so far.
He's got to bring in the cheddar right now.
2-1. And now it's ball 3. And again, behind in the count with the bases loaded. Make your pitching coach pace.
It's almost like he's trying to pitch too quickly. Almost like, I'm pitching because it's cold. I'd let Neuenhuis swing, Keith.
Absolutely.
25 pitches already in this inning for Wacha. 3-1 to Neuenhuis. And there's ball 4, and the Mets take the lead. The second bases loaded walk of the inning. Duda trots in to score, and it's 2-1 New York. I've never seen anything like this. We're in the 4th inning. Wacha has 5 walks and 10 strikeouts.
I just really think that calling that changeup 1-1 was just not very intelligent.
Waste of a pitch, right?
Now Granderson looking to jump one. And time is asked for. There are papers swirling all around Johnny Peralta at shortstop, and the second base umpire, Rob Drake, wants to do a little housekeeping. It's like a deck chair on the Titanic. We'll never keep up with it. Mets have sent 19 batters to the plate. Only 4 have hit fair balls. It's kind of not it's been for Wacha. Granderson has one of those. He had a base hit back in the first. And Curtis takes the first pitch curveball for ball 1.
Very nice, Curtis. That's the pitch he's been swinging at. Curve in the dirt. Took it.
Now the fastball in for a strike, 1-1. Granderson, the 8th man up in the inning. David Wright would be next.
Pitching your fastballs away. Shoot that ball through the shortstop hole.
Seth Maness up in the bullpen for the Cardinals with walk up over 90 pitches now. Five career grand slams for Curtis Granderson. 1-2.
Getting that ball up, Keith.
Yep. Curtis is a low ball hitter. That's belt high and under.
He does get a little rise on that ball up in the strike zone, does Walker.
Granderson pops one up. What's this one going to do? Everybody running with two out. Right along the line. And Carpenter stays with it in foul territory to retire the side. But a pair of bases loaded walks put the Mets in front against Michael Wacha and the Cardinals. 2-1 New York as we go to the fifth. Years ago today, Wrigley Field opens its doors. It was not known as Wrigley Field then. It was known as Weigman Park, and it wasn't the Cubs who played there. It was the Chicago Whales of the Federal League, and they celebrated that today with throwback uniforms and Weigman Park jackets on the grounds crew. And the Cubs blew a 3-run lead in the ninth to celebrate the 100th anniversary of Wrigley Field.
And you notice the ivy not grown in. It's still cold up there. I forget the year the Giants of New York played the championship football game against George Halas's Bears and lost that game. Was it 63?
63.
I believe, was it there that Del Schaffner dropped the touchdoand pass in the end zone?
You'll have to ask your Giant fan friends. Colton Watt batting for Michael Wacha.
I'm not sure if it was that game or not. Sure-handed Del Schaffner.
Seth Maness ready in the bullpen. So what an odd night for Michael Wacha, huh? Becomes the 7th pitcher in big league history to strike out 9 in the first 3 innings. He strikes out 10. He walks 5 in 4 innings of work, and he'll lead with his team for the moment behind in the game.
Well, kudos for the Cardinals for getting him out. He's having this amazing game, but they realized he had a lot of difficult pitches. They saw that it affected his pitching in the 4th inning, and shockingly took him out. There's a lot of organizations that would have kept throwing him out there 5th, 6th until he got to 110 pitches or so. He was straining to throw strikes. Time to get him out.
2-2, and Wong goes down on strikes. Strikeout number 3 for John Neese. 1 out in the 5th. When we're talking about the 100-year anniversary of Wrigley Field. The first ever game at Wrigley Field in the Federal League between the Chicago Whales and the Kansas City Packers.
Billy Williams, Ernie Banks. You saw Dick Butkus before. There he is, Dick, 51.
And they had the biplanes from the 19-teens do the flyover. That's very nice.
Whoa. Opened up in what, 1914?
1914, 100 years ago today.
That makes sense.
And as we mentioned, the Cubs didn't start playing there until 2 years later. But the Chicago Whales of the Federal League played 2 seasons there. But the Federal League was trying to become a third major league at the time. But they were a little bit dicey with some of their contractual situations. In fact, in that first game ever at Wrigley, then known as Weigman Park, the Kansas City Packers starting pitcher was taken out of the game after 2 innings because he was served with legal papers enjoining him from playing in the Federal League because the Reds owned his rights.
So he got served in the dugout.
So he had to come out of the game because he was subpoenaed or served.
So a federal marshal served him in the dugout.
Something like that, yeah.
You can't run away from there. You can't leave the door closed. Federal. That's hilarious.
3-2 to Carpenter, and he hits one right back up the middle for a base hit. So Carpenter has his 2nd hit of the night and his 5th of this series.
No, Carpenter doing what he does best. 2 for 3 off the tough left-hander Nice. All base hits, short stroke. He's a leadoff guy trying to make things happen.
Well, federal dollars, amazing. Things don't change too much. Going into a dugout to get a player. I mean, that's where you want your money spent, isn't it?
Jeez, no place to hide.
Here's Mark Ellis, who struck out and grounded out 0 for 2.
You know, back in those days too, as a federal marshal, you just couldn't get over the county line. The sheriffs had to stop at the county line back then.
That's right. That's why there was so much bank robbing.
Runner goes, a hit and run play, and Ellis fouls it off.
Interesting. Making things happen. Mike Matheny, 3rd-year manager of the Cardinals.
I was in spring training with the Cardinals one year, helping Tommy Lasorda work with the pitchers on holding runners close, and was throwing batting practice one day, hit Mike Matheny. Afterwards, I went over to him and said, "So sorry, hit you." He goes, "You got to work on that too." I mean, that's the kind of guy he is.
It's just so rare we see a hit and run to today's game.
You know, we've talked a lot about the new home plate collision rule, and one of the guys who really is the poster child for trying to eliminate home plate collisions is Mike Matheny, as Ellis hits one in the air to center, and Neuenhuis right there waiting. And Matheny suffered, we don't even know how many concussions over the course of his career, and it really cut short what was a very nice career.
You know, and speaking with Mike, he said, you know, for 18 months, I had difficulty forming a sentence. And when he said that to me, that really hit home. He said 2 things, that, and he said, it's almost like a punt returner putting his hand up for a fair catch and everyone being able to tackle him. It's not fair. And, you know, the rule is going to change a little bit. It's going to morph.
Oh, he hits one toward the right field corner, and Granderson over and stays with it to retire the side.
And I think when it does morph, where you're not vigilantly going out to hurt the catcher, you're going to be in good shape.
Halfway through, Cardinals go to the bullpen with the Mets up 2-1. State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Did we mention it's windy tonight at Citi Field? Get extended post-game coverage of tomorrow's Mets-Cardinals finale with exclusive interviews and player reactions, plus all the latest on the Yankees-Red Sox series in Boston on Loudmouth, presented by Caesars Atlantic City, tomorrow at 5:30, only on SNY.
Lackey's pitching better over there in Boston.
David Wright leads off against the new Cardinal pitcher Seth Maness.
Well, in the minor leagues, he struck out 172, walked 18, had 13 walks last year and 66 appearances.
David drives one out to right, but it dies right there for Shane Robinson, and that's the first out. Your Verizon trivia question tonight: the last 3 Cardinal players to win the National League MVP. Now, one guy won it 3 times, but we don't want to know.
So he just won.
He only counts as 1.
Okay, so I got 2.
You got to get the other 2.
I have 2. I mean, I have 2 already.
Okay.
Because we got our thing here. So we're getting 1 more.
Here's Daniel Murphy, who singled his last time up, and he takes ball 1. By the way, you know who's not pitching well in that Yankee Red Sox game tonight?
Who's that?
Michael Pineda. Got thrown out of the game for having pine tar in his neck. Now, it's a ground ball to the right side, and Ellis is there, and he throws him out. Now, the last time he was detected with whatever the substance was, it was no big deal. And now this time, he gets thrown out of the game.
League offices, Gary, that's how it works.
Well, maybe it's like, you get a pass the first time, and maybe you should be a little more discreet the next time.
Put it on his neck this time, right?
I mean, I don't mean to be disparaging, but isn't that kind of dumb?
I'm a brown guy. I can hide cocoa butter up there, but I can't go with the pine tar.
Chris Young takes a strike. Young is 0 for 2. Reached on a fielder's choice and scored a run in the Mets' 2-run fourth. Red Sox were up 4-0 in that game in the 4th inning. Maness working quickly, and Young grounds one down to third. Carpenter throws him out. Very quick inning for Maness. Just 7 pitches to get the Mets 1-2-3. Mets up 2-1. Want someone else to go chase it.
That's why you have a caddy, isn't it, Rogers?
Alan Craig leads off in the 6th inning against John Neese. Craig is 0 for 2. Daniel Murphy made a fine play and threw him out his last time up. watching the video of Jerry Davis throwing Pineda out of the game.
Yeah.
Walked up to him, took his index finger, dabbed on his neck a little bit, rubbed it between his fingers, and then gave the "you're out of the game" motion. Perfect. Line to left. Chris Young going back, and he is able to corral it.
Well, let me ask you a question. You guys have been around pine tar enough, Keith.
Yep.
How nasty is it that you put it on your skin? It's like on your neck.
Well, you put it on your hands.
Well, that's different.
That's
a different thing. Then you wipe it with alcohol after a game to get it all off.
Correct.
But put it on your skin. It's
very deceptive.
Very covert. Stupid. There's many words. It wasn't as covert as he thought.
Where's he going to try to hide it the next time? He's tried his arm, his glove, his neck. Molina's got another base hit. Lynch just can't get him out right now. So Molina now 2 for 2 and a walk. Now the Cardinals have a 1-out base runner for Johnny Peralta. Let's check in with Janae Coakley in the studio for a game break brought to you by your local Tri-Honda dealers. Braves are now 14-7 to start the year. Peralta takes change up for a strike. Peralta's been up twice, grounded out to third, fouled out to first. Now 0 for his last 19. His average has shrunk to 155. And he's quickly ahead on him, 0-2. The Cardinals 1 run and 5 hits. The Mets 2 runs and 3 hits. Game 3 of a 4-game set. Day game tomorrow with Bartolo Colon against Lance Lynn.
Getaway day with Bartolo is usually very good, but in Anaheim it did not work out.
Well, this time the Mets will not be the ones getting away.
Yeah.
Slow tapper, foul. That's the Marlins coming in over the weekend. They will miss Jose Fernandez in this series. Fernandez pitched last night, so he could have gone Tuesday to Sunday, but the Marlins have an off day tomorrow, and they're not skipping anybody. So actually, the New Rochelle native, Tom Kohler, will pitch Sunday instead.
And he had a good game against the Mets in Miami last season.
He's pitched great so far.
Yeah, he has. Yes.
We'll get Henderson Alvarez Friday, Kevin Slowey Saturday, and then Kohler on Sunday.
Alvarez coming off a big game. What did he throw? 90 pitches in the complete game effort.
Curveball pulled foul.
Oh boy, that was a hanger, big time. Peralta way out in front. Luckily for John, this is on a tee. Too quick.
Well, nothing's working for Peralta right now. John broke his bat his first time up. Trying to break another one with the cutter. Is that a misnomer? Do you ever try to break a guy's bat? Randy showed up in the bullpen.
It's a good question.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Center field, doing ice, measures it, and grabs it. Telling you what, everything in the air tonight is an adventure. A little easier on the line drives, but still, that ball moved a ton. And Kurt talking to Curtis Granderson about it.
Yeah, letting your other guy know which way the ball's drifting.
Usually, when you're talking about breaking a bat, it's the little ping hitters that you will go after them to break their bat. Yeah, little ping hitters.
I love that saying.
The other thing that you do is if a guy fouls one off his foot, you know where you go next pitch? The same place. Let him foul it off again. Just keep breaking up that foot if you can.
Sounds like a survival of the fittest kind of thing.
It's beautifully sadistic when it's happening.
Or just flies one foul. Can't give up on anything in the air tonight. Even if you think it's 20 rows deep, it might blow back out of the field.
You're right.
And that ball, Young and Ryan and Tejada all kept running till the ball was on a seat.
They had about 55 yards, square yards covered. just in case.
Borges takes a cutter for a strike, and it's 0-2. Borges is lined to center and then hit a pop-up that Tejada dropped, but no worry because the Mets got a force play out of it. Line to second. Murphy's got it. Side retired. Well, some hard-hit balls in that inning against John Neese, but the Mets were in the right spots. We go to the bottom of the sixth. It's 2-1 New York. .com/free shirt Fridays.
How do you get that, Gary? So free shirt Friday is on Friday. Is that what you're saying?
That's a really good guess.
Okay.
Lucas Duda leads off for the Mets in the home sixth. John Neese, 88 pitches deep. 1 run allowed in 6 innings. Working with a 2-1 lead. Both the Met runs coming on bases loaded walks from Michael Wacha in the 4th. Wacha pitched 4 innings, walked 5, struck out 10. There have now been exactly 3 games in Major League history where a pitcher has pitched 4 innings or less and struck out double digits.
Duda drives one to deep right field. Back goes Robinson near the wall. It's out of here. Lucas Duda with his 4th home run of the year. And the Mets now have a 3-1 lead. Now the Mets and Cardinals have been tied for dead last in the National League in home runs. Duda breaks that tie with his 4th of the season.
This is going to be a sinker. I bet that didn't sink. Straight as it might have been a changeup. Yeah. Outside corner, Luca towards the end of the bat on Lucas, and he still hit it over the wise snack sign.
Onto the terrace in front of the Shea Bridge.
That's what happens when you give Grizzly Adams a bat. Things like this happen.
Whoa. That ball just stayed up. Nicely done. Nice smile from Lucas. There you go. Yeah. Well done.
2-0 to Darno, has walked and singled, and he flies one foul down the right side. And that'll blow deeper into the crowd. 2-1. Anyway, I was about to say there have been 3 times in Major League history now where pitchers pitched 4 innings or less and struck out 10 or more, and they've all happened in the last 2 months of Major League Baseball.
4 innings or less, or 5 innings or less?
4 innings.
Okay.
With 10 or more strikeouts. It happened last September. Felix Hernandez went 4 innings, struck out 10. is top toward the shortstop. Peralta with a running throw in the dirt, and it can't be handled. Well, Peralta can't get out of his own way right now. Error on Peralta allows d'Arnaud to reach.
Just likes it.
Yep. And he really could have set himself with d'Arnaud running. A little more set. That's a long hop. Craig is really not a first baseman. I probably would have put that in my back pocket, but we won't go there.
If you put that in your back pocket, you'd have to have a high back pocket because that was a high bounce.
So d'Arnaud's at first, and now Tejada, who drew one of the bases loaded walks from Milwaukee in the fourth. So Felix Hernandez did it last September, 4 innings, 10 strikeouts, and 2 weeks ago, Danny Salazar of the Indians did it.
That's right.
When 3 2/3 struck out 10. It had never happened in Major League history before last September, and now it's happened 3 times. Strikeouts just continue to explode in Major League Baseball. For better or for worse.
You notice all these high numbers, Ronnie, with these pitchers out there. Number 61, they're like football numbers. Man, Manus has got number 61.
I think that there comes a time when there's a kind of bone of contention and a proudness to, you know what, I'm keeping it. It's an ugly number. It's awful. No one wants this number. I'm going to keep it. You know, everyone knows that the great players that were 44 or 24 or 16, 17, all 7. But no one knows anyone that's any good worth 61.
It's all Gretzky's fault.
Right, with 99.
Right.
That's right.
Actually, before Gretzky, when Phil Esposito and Ken Hodge came to the Rangers, they took 77 and 88.
That's right.
It was the start of the downfall of civilization as we know it.
You ever met Despo? You would appreciate it, his sense of humor about it.
2-2 to Tejada.
88 was John Mackey for the Colts.
Well, football's different.
Tight end.
Football, you need all those numbers.
Yeah, right.
Up to 99.
Well, the ends were always in 80 in the 80s anyway.
Daisuke Matsuzaka up in the Mets bullpen. Neese for the moment is out on deck. John's thrown 88 pitches through 6 innings. 2-2 to Tejada. And Ruben lays off. Full count. So Manus, who worked a 1-2-3 fifth inning, finding trouble here in the 6th. The leadoff home run by Duda. d'Arnaud reaching on Peralta's error, and now it's 3-2 on Tejada.
In his 66 appearances last year, Manus was known mostly for his ability to come in and get the double play. Sinker ball pitcher.
And that's wide, but did he swing? He did.
Oh.
And Tejada is punched out by Alan Porter.
Anything close, go sit down.
It goes to the pitcher. It's ball 4. I don't know.
That's a swing.
Think?
You think that's a swing? It used to be the top of the bat had to kind of flip over.
You broke
it doesn't
your,
have to now.
If you broke your wrist, too, it's automatic.
Yeah, but now if the bat clears home plate, even if you don't break your wrists, it seems that that's going to get called.
The weather has anything to do with it?
Neese has walked and struck out tonight. That pitcher still don't have a hit, right?
Now, Ronnie, I'll tell you one thing.
Oh! And Manus is a Stu Miller type victim of the wind.
Wow.
And it's a balk that sends d'Arnaud to second.
I think he got a spike caught running.
Yeah, he got a spike caught. Sometimes when you're going to the plate, you will catch the front of your spike, and it'll just you try to push your foot through, and his front foot hits the spike and it just stops right in the play and flips him over. Yeah, more people out there to check out the spike. Come on now, go sit down. Cole, he's all right.
He's got number 61 on it. He's okay.
Exactly.
So on the balk, Darno now at second, so no longer a bunting situation with one out for Nice. See if he can get the first hit by a Met pitcher this year. 0-2 for Manus, and he misses away.
Very shallow center field, all outfield positions.
Well, Borges is the fastest man, and this is Billy Hamilton included, in the game.
Really?
The fastest man in the game.
Faster than Billy Hamilton.
Faster than Billy Hamilton. Might not play with the recklessness, might not play with the base stealing that Mr. Hamilton does, but if you put them in a race, Mr. Borges wins that race. Another strikeout, by the way.
It's 12 strikeouts for Cardinal pitching as Nice is retired for the second out. And that's going to be all for Manus as Mike Matheny comes out to the home plate umpire Marty Foster to make a double switch. So with Kurt Neuenhuis coming up, they'll bring in the left-hander. Mets up 3-1 in the sixth. This call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. We'll be right back to Citi Field.
Why would you want to take them out? They're beating them 4-0. Leave them in. Gary Matthews said, "You having a bad day? Keep that starting pitcher in there."
John Jay into center field. Randy Choate into pitch to Kirk Neuenhuis. Mets have a run home here in the sixth on a Lucas Duda home run. Darno at second and 2 down. Neuenhuis 0 for 2 and a walk.
Randy Choate is the veteran of all veterans, isn't he? Specialty lefty in here to get the 1 out. That's it.
And quickly ahead on Neuenhuis. It's that old Johnny Cash tune. I've been everywhere, man.
Yeah.
The Randy Choate story.
Across the Rio Grande, man.
38 years old.
I've been everywhere, man. That song?
That one.
You got potential.
1-1 to Neuenhuis. He takes the breaking ball up and away. Choate last year was in 64 games and worked 35 innings. Now that's a specialist. Pat Neshek, the choke from the other side, is up in the Cardinal bullpen. You got your lefty specialist, you got your righty specialist.
Hmm.
2-2 to Newman Ice.
The old sinker gets under the bat.
This guy doesn't release the ball around waist high. You have no chance of hitting him. There's Daisuke.
Daisuke about 2 innings into his 3-inning warm-up.
Throws about 172 pitches per relief appearance.
2-2 from Choate. And Newman Ice hits one foul. To the chilled crowd. We're down to 48 degrees now with the 40-mile-an-hour gusts. A truly wintry experience at Citi Field.
Nothing compared to last year in Minnesota and Denver, Ronnie.
Yeah, he said it was
not
brutal.
Not even close.
The doubleheader in Denver may be the most miserable day I've ever spent in a ballpark.
You and I stuck it out, boy.
4.5-hour second game.
We could have left early. We didn't. We stayed.
We could have been down with the shoveling brigade too. That was our mistake. We should have been out working up a sweat.
That would have served you well in the 4.5 hours. Sweaty clothes, hanging out.
But Coleman was down there. Sandy Alderson was down shoveling.
And he's the Boston guy, ham and egg. That's what we do. We shovel.
You're saying you would have been down?
I would have been down there. That's what we do. We shovel.
Do you put a cone in your parking space too?
Well,
it's Boston.
If you're allowed to live on that street.
Uenai shoots from right at the shortstop Peralta, and he throws this one true to first to end the inning. But the Mets had a run as Lucas Duda powers one over the bullpen and onto the Shea Bridge Terrace. Impressive shot by Duda. His 4th makes it 3-1 New York. TV. Click on the link and join the conversation. It's Chat Live with Bobby O, presented by Verizon, only on SNY.TV. John Dees set to start the 7th inning. Not sure what that delay was all about. Was that another wind-related delay? Shane Robinson leads off the 7th. And the curveball from Neese in for a strike, 0-1. Robinson had an infield hit in the second and then nubbed one back to Nice to end the fourth. And he flies one to deep left. Chris Young going back, and he's got room. Nothing's going out that direction. One out.
Got to be one of the big boys to knock it out of the park that way.
So now John Jay up for the first time, batting ninth in the order after coming in a double switch. Jay started the first two games of this series in center field, went 2 for 7, drove in the first two St. Louis runs last night in their 3-0 win.
I never got this, the hoodie here. I never got it. I didn't get the memo. Well, by the way, John Nice is throwing a fine ball game.
Ground ball down to Duda, and he makes the play on Jay for the second out. Let's see what's coming up tonight on Geico Sports Night. Check into the studio with Chris Carlin. Chris.
I'm Chris Carlin. Coming up on Geico Sports Night, the NFL releases its schedule for the upcoming season. And are there already problems in Knicks land? See you later on.
I like Chris's tie. It's a nice pink.
Need a little.
What color was it?
Pink?
No, I thought it was purple. Violet.
Was it?
Violet. Little.
Kind of like your shirt. A little lavender.
Yes, lavender. Violet.
I can't help.
Tell you what, Nice is throwing well, Ron.
Yeah, he's thrown a gem in this kind of weather. He's kept it down. He's mixed up his pitches. He's working very quickly.
With a little more alert defense in the first inning, he would have a shutout going. Carpenter hits one deep to right center over Granderson and off the base of the wall. And Carpenter pulls into second base with a 2-out double, his third hit of the night.
Well, you're beginning to see Carpenter catching fire off a very tough left-hander. Nice gets a hanger. Look at the shoulder in. Beautiful. That's how it's done.
You know, Keith, I think you're also noticing with the wind is that anything the left field is dying, anything the right field is carrying.
And that's going to be all for Nice after 95 pitches, with all right-hand hitters coming up. He's coming out, and Daisuke Matsuzaka is coming in. So Nice goes 6 2/3. He's allowed just one run tonight. He leaves with a 3-1 lead. And Daisuke, who pitched 3 innings the other day, will get the ball to try and get the final out here in the 7th. Mets up 3-1. We'll be right back to Citi Field.
Unbelievable. Just stalwart out there today, and Daisuke Matsuzaka is coming in to relieve him. He was outstanding in that extra inning game. If you remember it, he pitched 3 innings, struck out 5 batters in that game.
That was on Sunday against the Braves. He had worked Saturday in relief as well, and he told Terry Collins Monday, I'm good to go.
I thought it would be very difficult for Daisuke to be able to pitch back-to-back-to-back games. He has almost jumped at this opportunity to pitch in the bullpen.
Mark Ellis, the batter, with a runner at second and 2 out. Ellis is 0 for 3, struck out, grounded out, flied out.
That's what happens when you spend some time in Las Vegas. It's like, whatever you want in New York, I'm ready to do it.
Carpenter at second with 2 down. Lefties didn't have a hit in Neese's first 3 starts. Carpenter, the only lefty in the lineup, 3 hits tonight, half of the Cardinal total. Ball and a strike to Ellis. Big batter here because you got Matt Holliday standing on deck, and he certainly is capable of being a game breaker in this spot.
I like the way Daisuke has accepted his role, and he's been outstanding out of the bullpen. What's his 3rd time out?
3rd time.
Popped up. Going to get blown toward the stands, and well out of play.
The ball's in play when it was left to bat. That's how much the wind is affecting it. Daisuke with 3/4 sleeves. I mean, this is a pop-up to Duda right there. And ends up 10 rows back.
Now Matsuzaka ahead in the count, 1-2. And Ellis goes down swinging, side retired. Daisuke comes in, gets the strikeout, keeps the Mets up 3-1 at the 7th inning stretch. John Neese is Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin,
you know, it's one thing if you're in your hunting gear in Ohio, but this is how did you pitch in this? I mean, this is tough tonight.
It was pretty miserable, but you know, defense made some great plays, and you know, just tried to stay pound the zone in the bottom of the zone, and you know, fortunately got through it.
What's the toughest part about it? Is it gripping the ball? Is it you know, making the ball spin? Toughest part tonight is what?
Staying warm is the toughest. With the wind, it was tough to stay balanced. You know, had to step off a couple times because the wind was blowing me pretty hard. But yeah, and I used the rosin to keep the fingers a little tacky, but for the most part, the hardest thing was to stay warm.
How about between innings? What did you do? Did your routine change at all between innings, just try and keep your body warm?
Yeah, this is the first game I actually wear a jacket in the dugout. I normally don't, but I had to today because it was pretty brutal.
And after the first inning, and you were good there. You just looked like you were in total groove, total command. What felt best for you tonight?
Was able to pound the zone with all the pitches. Didn't throw my curveball as much as I wanted to, but Travis and I did a good job of sticking together and, like I said, pounding the zone.
How tough is Carpenter? He just looks like he's tough because he doesn't miss much when you get in the strike zone. Tell me about facing him.
He's a good hitter. A lot of the lefties that I face, I don't face many, but the lefties I do are some of the best hitters in baseball. So, great hitter, stays in there, and he put great swings on the ball today.
John, before we let you go and warm up, which I know you'll do, just the collective feel of this starting unit as a whole. If this team's gotten some really good starting pitching, do you feel that as a group? Do you talk about that as a group?
Yeah, we kind of feed off each other. We try and throw up quality starts as much as possible, work efficiently, try and get as deep as we can, give the bullpen a break. And for the most part, we've been doing that.
John, terrific tonight. Hopefully the team can go out and get you a victory. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Hot tub calling John Neese's name, fellas. I have a pretty good feeling about that. Let's go back upstairs to you.
Well, he certainly persevered tonight. Kevin's report brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce, and job well done. I mean, these are tough conditions for everybody out there.
Tough conditions. He threw strikes, didn't walk anybody. That's the problem that Michael Walker, despite all the strikeouts, had. And got some easier outs and pitched into the 7th inning on a night like this. Just can't be more complimentary.
Granderson having a tough at bat here against the left-hander. He's already seen 8 pitches from Randy Choate, still going.
Ron, I got
1 for 3 tonight.
Ron, I got a question.
Yeah.
When I always talk about offensively, a team couldn't get on a roll. It's contagious. Hitting's contagious. Same thing with starting pitchers.
Yeah. What happens is that I always believe that there are these little sects of a team. There's the everyday players, because they know what it takes to play every day, 150 plus games, be out there, get their hits, all of that stuff. There's the bullpen. They spend a lot of time alone out there, do a lot of talking, trying to get themselves through. And then the starting pitching. If you come together as a starting pitcher, you not only compete on the mound, you compete when you bat, you compete as I heard a story the other day that you told someone, I can't believe you told it, but you were talking about how the Mets pitchers used to play tape baseball in the Jet locker room with the wiffle bats. I mean, we would compete at everything. I mean, it was stupid for us to do it, but it was just, that's how we were. And you can get to that place where John Neese pitches a good game today. Bartolo Colon comes right back in the afternoon, says, I want to do a little better than John Neese does. It can really work where you get this beautiful cycle of guys trying to outdo each other.
Meanwhile, the 11th pitch of the at-bat coming to Granderson, and there'll be at least one more. And think about it this way. I mean, the Mets have forged a .500 record so far. They're 10-10 despite minimal offense.
Yep.
So that's all on the pitching staff.
Well, they've played good defense. The pitching has been key.
Pitching is going to have its down moments, though. That's when the offense has got to pick you up.
This is a marathon for Granderson against Choate. 12th pitch coming, and he stopped the swing in time for ball 4. So a terrific turn at bat for Granderson to get on base to start the home 7th.
Well, these are positive signs. A base hit is first at bat. And I believe that's going to be all for Choate.
Left him in to face the left-hand hitter. Now you got David Wright coming up, but you have the left-hand hitter Murphy behind him. So let's see what Matheny has in mind. He's got the side-arming right-hander Neshek ready, and he'll be coming into the game. So the Mets trying for more here in the 7th, up 3-1. We'll be right back to Citi Field.
Very unconventional, the way he throws the ball to the plate.
It's unconditionally unconventional.
Yeah.
David Wright flying out against Neshek in the opening game of this series. He's 0 for 3 tonight. David just 1 for 11 in the series. Granderson at first and nobody out with the Mets up 3-1 in the 7th.
David's been taking a big home run hacks lately. This is like swinging from your shoes. Big swing.
Watch the motion of Neshek. He has that glove out straight like alms to the poor man.
Well, this is a big game. I know I'm stating the obvious, but for this Met team, it's a game to build on. You win tonight, you come tomorrow morning with a chance to take 3 out of 4 from the National League champions in your backyard.
1-2 from Neshek, and the fastball just missed. Neshek, look at his reaction.
Well, that was
you don't often see that.
He put a little something extra on that.
Wow, mama. You never want to have this kind of reaction. I know what it's like. Ball came back. It's a strike. Neshek knows it. David might know it. But the umpire doesn't know it. So that's all that matters. Do it again.
You might not get the call the next time, even if it's closer. After that reaction. I mean, do umpires, after you do something like that, are they going to not call the next pitch a strike?
They got TO. No, they're professional enough to call the ball a strike. But if it's an inch off, they're not going to call it a strike. An inch up, an inch down.
It depends on the individual umpire. It depends how much you show them up, too. If you really show them up, they're going to stick it to you.
And he calls strike 3 on the slider on the inside corner.
That is that ugly slider that does not break. It just spins on the inside corner. It's the ugliest pitch. Umpires love to call it for a strike. 2 reasons why. It's right in front of them, and 2, that's where they sit. And the ball almost hits them in the middle of the body. That's why they call it a strike.
I think it caught the corner.
Oh, it definitely does.
It did.
It's just ugly.
It's lucky. I've been wrong out. It's not meant to be inside. The only one that did it was Loaiza that I ever saw. Loaiza was the master of the front door slider.
1 out and 1 on for Murphy, and he takes a strike.
What was Loaiza's first name? Esteban. Yes, he was with Washington when I saw him.
It was a great political name. He should run for office where he's from. Esteban Loaiza.
Steve Lewis.
There you go.
Murphy's 1 for 3 tonight. Single back in the 4th. And he fouls one away. Well, if you're just joining us, you missed one of the oddest starting performances of the year by the Cardinals' Michael Wacha. He struck out 9 batters in the first 3 innings. But then he started walking people and wound up going only 4, allowed 5 walks, 10 strikeouts in those 4 innings. And he's on the hook in this game. Walked in 2 runs. Murphy flies one down the left side. Let it go foul. Seth Maness went an inning and 2/3 in relief. He allowed the home run by Duda. Choate faced 2 batters, and now Neshek. And meanwhile, Daisuke Matsuzaka picking up for John Neese, struck out his only batter in relief.
Got a sinker ball pitcher out here, submariner, side armor, and Murph going. You got Peralta playing up the middle almost. Give Murph that big hole in the left side of the infield.
What's the one you watch Murph swing? You hope that they can turn the field around a little bit, push it around.
Ooh, that's right there to rip. A little tardy.
Granderson at first and 1 out. Mets have just 4 hits tonight.
Nice block.
Molina does a great job stopping that, and then Granderson gets back.
Well, they don't give the gold away for nothing.
Most guys spend their time trying to just block a pitch. He's trying to set it up with Granderson to pick him off first base. Amazing.
One-two from Neshek, and Murphy pops it up on the infield. Who's going to get it? Right near the mound, and Carpenter's got it. Well, that's tough enough with no wind. Well, this is Michael Wacha's night.
I don't know how to judge this night as a starter. Had unhittable stuff. Threw it by everyone. If he tended to curve the ball occasionally, that was an out also. Hitting the ball, hitting the corners of the plate, inside and out. The walks ended up hurting him. Walked in a run. Walked in 2 runs, in fact. And that's been the difference in the game. The Mets have added 1 late.
Wacha started as a wonder and ended as a walker.
Got to be able to steal the base on this Neshek. He drops his hands right before he comes to the plate. So if you're Granderson, Goodwin, the first base umpire, as soon as he drops his hands, puts his hands together, as soon as he drops them, he's coming to the plate. Just watch for that. Dropped. I mean, he pulls them up and he pushes it down and then goes to the plate. I mean, there isn't an easier read in the history of organized baseball.
Are you on the record?
On the record.
Chris Young is 0 for 3 tonight. And he pops this one up in foul ground. That should blow over into the stands. And it's 1-1.
We're actually having a good time up here tonight, folks. The 3 of us. We've been kind of silly, a little giddy.
How many days in the course of the season do we not have a good time up here?
I mean, we're just a little giddy. We're a little silly tonight. It's just how we get through a cold night like this. We have to call on all of our reserves.
Grounded down to Carpenter, and he'll go the long way to first to get Young, and that retires the side. So Neshek comes in, gets 3 in a row after that leadoff walk. After 7, it's 3-1 New York. Happens by Cure Auto Insurance. Rates should be based on how you drive, not your credit score. Cure Auto Insurance. Drive well. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one today at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Final game of the series tomorrow afternoon. Bartolo Colon against Lance Lynn. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 right here on SNY. And there are your city probables for tomorrow. Lynn has not lost yet this year. He's unbeaten in his career in April.
You know, the one thing I see, and it's really shown here with the Mets young pitchers, not Colon, of course, and the young pitchers of the Cardinals, is that, and I think, you know, you become very New York centric. You know, the Mets have all these young pitchers ready to go, and when they figure it out, they're going to come up here and just every team has tons of young pitching. St. Louis, every team has tons of young pitching. That's all the athletes are going that way.
So it's about finding the guys who can be the elite and keeping them healthy.
Yep.
Matt Holliday leads off in the 8th inning. Holliday 0 for 2 and a walk tonight. Had a double against Torres on Monday night. Carlos throws that cutter and gets a strike. Holliday, Craig, and Molina in the 8th.
You do all your hard work, Gary, about keeping you safe. It's your DNA plays the biggest part in that.
0-2 to Holliday. So Daisuke Matsuzaka faced one batter and struck him out. There seemed to be a little confusion at the end of that last half inning as to who was going to pitch for the Mets. Torres was up in the last inning, but I don't think he was throwing when the Cardinals were batting, or the Mets were batting in the bottom of the 7th. And Daisuke wasn't sure whether he was going back out, and Torres was late coming in. So it seemed as though there was some kind of miscommunication there, and I'm not sure how warm Torres was when he took them out.
Yeah, I thought Daisuke would get the next inning. They've done it before, having the 3 right-handers in Holliday, Craig, and Molina.
1-2 from Torres. And he just missed outside. Well, Torres has certainly been heavily used and for more than an inning at a time. Well, Craig on deck.
I like Daisuke in the bullpen. It just strengthens the bullpen. And remember, Daisuke had a fabulous spring and was disappointed didn't make the ball club. They opted for Mejia, and that was the right thing to do. Mejia was 24 years of age. But now Daisuke's here, and he's been out four appearances out of that bullpen. He's been a big plus.
Two to Holliday. Past the mound. Tejada to his left. Runs it down. Got him. Nice play by Tejada, who's had a very good homestand in the field.
Yes, he has. And a little bit of a double clutch here on the exchange, Gare. A little bit of a. There you go. He on the run. Got him. Nicely done. Nice stretch by Lucas. Full extension with the glove hand. Excellent.
You've been working with him?
No.
Adam Fornatero up in the bullpen. Excuse me, Eric Fornatero. I was thinking of somebody else.
Pete Fornatero.
There you go. Here's Alan Craig, who's 0 for 3. Craig hit the ball hardest last time up, lined out to Chris Young in left field. Just 2 for 12 in this series as his difficult beginning to the season continues. Yadier Molina waits on deck. Two.
Or you could he just sits right off that corner, puts the glove right up in the middle of his body, and that's really what you have to do. Hit Darno in the middle of the body, it becomes a strike.
Craig is just way out in front, pulling that front shoulder. Thus the hitting woes.
1-2. Bounces the breaking ball. 2-2.
You can just see the expression on his face, Craig, that he's really trying to fight through this. I've been there. You just can't get it. You don't feel comfortable.
Try to squeak one in, don't you?
It's a battle.
Yeah.
1 out and nobody on. 2-2 to Craig. All the way. Carlos Martinez up alongside Eric Fornatero in the Cardinal bullpen. John Neese went 6 2/3, allowed 1 run and 6 hits, in line for his first win of the year. Now Farnsworth, an early call on the Mets bullpen. Farnsworth working as the closer, up with 1 out in the 8th.
He's not throwing overly hard, so I'm thinking a guy like Farnsworth in his years, Gary, he might need a little more time than he did in the past when he was a 7-8 pitch pitcher as far as getting ready in the bullpen.
There is such an art to conserving your bullets down there and yet still being ready to go, especially on a cool night. Is there an optimum way to go about it, or does everybody have to find their own way?
Everyone has to find their own way. First time I went in the bullpen, I was throwing 110 miles an hour by the 3rd pitch. I was ready to go by the 5th pitch. Put me in, coach. That's not how it works. You really just have to condense what a starting pitcher does in 20 minutes into 3.5 minutes.
8th pitch of the at-bat coming from Torres to Craig. Popped it up. See how the wind takes it. Duda tracking it to the railing, and it's out of play. Anything to the right side, you're not going to be able to keep it in play.
I think for these first baseman and Murph, don't even think about the ball. Run right to the stands and then pick the ball up. That's the best chance you have.
Get there as fast as you can to that wall.
Take away some of the fans. Say, hey, I like you. Love you, Mets fans, but part the Red Sea. I need to make a catch.
Well, if you get to the railing early enough, you can get it in the 2nd or 3rd.
Yeah.
So Craig putting on a battle here with Molina to follow. Mets haven't got Molina out yet tonight. Again, the 2-2. Just inside, full count.
I was thinking with Ike on and that pop-ups, I'm going to remember Ike. One thing I'll remember about Ike, his ability to catch those foul balls and fall into the dugout.
Flipping over the rail.
That's a strange thing to remember him by.
10th pitch to Craig, and he hits one toward the hole and through for a base hit. So Craig wins that battle, and the Cardinals will get the tying run to the plate here in the 8th.
Nice at bat for Craig there.
That was a good pitch.
Didn't get it out enough,
but it's down.
Too much plate towards the end of the bat. He's still out in front, but just a good at bat.
And also, after throwing that cutter 90-91 earlier in the bat, that was 88.
Yeah, well,
and you know, Torres has pitched a lot, and you wonder how much is too much, even for a guy like Torres who says he can pitch every day. So here's Molina, who's 2 for 2 and a walk, and he drives one foul.
Well, Molina has just been trying to go the other way all night.
They just keep pitching him away. That's why they do not pitch him in.
Put a hurt on you if you keep throwing him out there. You got to go in there where those pots and pans are.
Molina doubled in the only Cardinal run back in the 1st inning by hitting it down the right field line. Since then, he's walked and singled to left.
Tell how precise pitching can be sometimes, guys. When I was with the Oakland Athletics, I would sit on the bench in between innings. Dave Duncan would come up and say, listen, you got to pitch inside. You got to pitch inside more. Because when that comes in to save this game, he is not going to throw in. So you better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You can protect your closer.
Yep.
Wow, I never thought of that.
0-2. Pulled over the bag. A fair ball going down the line. Craig on his way to 3rd as Young digs it out. Molina into 2nd with his 3rd hit and his 2nd double of the night, and the Cardinals have the tying runs in scoring position with 1 out.
Well, he pulled that one, and again, you know, Terry's a guy that doesn't guard the line. I am a guy that likes to guard the line. It's a hanger, and it's down the line. That's a double play if you're guarding the line. Now, granted, I played for managers that didn't want to guard the line, so this is not a criticism. It's a philosophy. I just happen to believe that you've got to guard the line late.
So now a base hit could tie it for St. Louis. Johnny Peralta, who's in an 0 for 20 skid, comes to the plate. Mets have the infield back. They'll concede 1 run to get it out. And Peralta takes the cutter off the plate, ball 1.
Interesting with Lagares on the DL. Neuenhuis has a good arm. Chris Young has a good arm, and they're pretty accurate. Curtis so far not the best of arms.
And Adams on deck to pinch hit, with the pitcher due up next. 1-1 to Peralta.
I'll tell you what, Torres is really, I think, dropping his arm, Ronnie. He's throwing some flat ones up there.
I think that's the key. He's dropping his arm. He's getting underneath the baseball, which is making it flat.
Peralta pops it up. Murphy with the call. And that's the second out. Peralta breaks his bat. And Torres gets a king-sized out. Now 2 out of the inning.
Boy, that's a huge out right there. And boy, oh boy, Peralta just continues to deliver nothing for the Cardinals this young season.
It's right in the middle of the plate also.
Yep. Flat.
Matt Adams announced as the pinch hitter. Mets are going to make a pitching change here in the 8th. Torres got 2 outs, but he'll leave with the tying runs in scoring position. 3-1 New York. We'll come right back to Citi Field. Mercedes.com. Scott Rice has to get 1 big out at the top of the 8th inning.
And you know, he has been getting that 1 big out despite that ERA that happened mostly early in the season. But a tough mark here in Adams, a guy who likes the ball down. Scott Rice is a sinker ball pitcher.
Rice faced 2 batters Monday night, retired them both. Adams comes up as a pinch hitter. Started the first 2 games of this series. Had been the hottest bat in the Cardinal lineup coming into the series. 2 for 8 in the 2 games. But just 2 for 14 against left-hand pitching. And Adams takes one in the dirt. Stopped by d'Arnaud. Well, that's awfully good. Not too many hitters, young hitters, thrive in that pinch hitting role like that.
Well, this is a base hit mode right here. Base hit ties the ball game up.
d'Arnaud setting up inside. He has to move his feet, but now it's 2-0.
You don't like to see that number on first batter face. 9 at bats. The one advantage, small advantage that the Mets outfielders have in a 3-1 game on a base hit, if there is one, not a lot of speed at second base. The only Achilles heel for the young Molina.
2-0. Adams yanks one foul. 2-1. Shane Robinson, a right-hand hitter on deck. It's not Mort. You still have Mort? Bazooka Joe? Is that this?
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't know if it was a dated reference.
Nope.
2-1 to Adams. And he pulls another one foul.
Two pitches. First 2 pitches by Rice for balls. The second 2 pitches by Wright were balls. But Mr. Adams swung at both of them.
It's hard to lay off that hard sinker.
Yeah. And that's where Rice was so successful last year. It's that fine line between making it unhittable and making it tempting. Now it's 2-2 to Adams. And he rolls over another one this time. Splitter by Rice.
That's all you need as a hitter right there. I'm surprised that Adams didn't step out. Piece of paper flying across right in front of your sight to distract you.
You would have had to done some housekeeping, Keith.
Oh. See, but that's worked for the Cardinals in the past. They had the rally squirrel.
That's right.
It could have been the rally hot dog wrapper.
Big out here for Mr. Rice.
Two coming. Line to right. Granderson coming on. Side retired. Scott Rice gets one big out as he retires Matt Adams. That sends us to the bottom of the 8th with the Mets leading 3-1. But before that,
and I know Willie McGee did,
and Keith Hernandez, and before that was Joe Torre, right?
I think
71.
Willie McGee hit 352 that year.
That was 85, wasn't it?
Yeah.
No.
Eric Fornatero makes his second big league appearance for St. Louis.
That was Vince Coleman's rookie year, so he stole over 100.
110, yeah.
110 bases. Willie McGee just could not get him out. Ozzie Smith made himself into a hitter. Yep. Terry Pendleton was outstanding. Tom Herr out of the second slot, 8 home runs, over 100 RBIs.
No, he hit third that year.
Sure?
He hit third.
Okay.
Lucas Duda leads off for the Mets in the 8th. Last time up, he hit a bomb.
Well, got the high change from Manus over the Wise Snacks sign.
You sound hungry.
You're like a chip off the old block.
I'd just like to make my director happy.
Well, Duda with 4 home runs now, leading the ball club. And Fornatero misses outside. Fornatero made his debut Monday night. Got the Mets out 1-2-3. He'll face the same 3 hitters tonight that he faced on Monday: Duda, Darno, and Tejada. 1-1 to Lucas. In the bottom of the 9th, the Cardinals will have Robinson, Jay, and Carpenter. Right, left, left. So would you be tempted to leave Rice in as opposed to having Farnsworth start the inning?
Yes.
At the moment, nobody up. 3-1 now to Duda. Of course, the Mets could make it moot by putting up a few more runs here in the 8th.
And the bench for the Cardinals is only Tony Cruz, the backup catcher, right-hand hitter, and Descalzo, the left.
Duda hits this one in the air to right center. This one's playable. And Robinson right in front of the warning track makes the catch for the first down. Mort. Here's your AT&T fan photo of the game.
Okay.
Comes to us from Carlos Rivera. Got that Mets logo right on the hood.
Where is Carlos? Where are those mountains?
Looks like he's somewhere out west.
That's like like Mesa or right?
Arizona,
Albuquerque,
Vegas, somewhere.
Maybe San Diego.
Here's Darno. Walked, singled, reached on an air. 1 for 2 on the night.
This kid has good movement. Fortunato.
Another high number. Jeez.
Oh,
there you go.
Smart.
The comforter was a great idea tonight.
Love the color.
3-0 now to Darno. And now Farnsworth will get up. Travis takes a strike. By the way, can't let this game pass without commenting on what happened last night in the Seattle-Houston game. Now, we never talk about Seattle-Houston games, but one of the nicest kids who's passed through here the last few years, Colin McHugh, pitched for the Astros last night and had the game of his life.
Second game of his life.
Well, the first one was that debut he made against the Rockies.
Right.
But he outdid it last night. 12 strikeouts in 6 2/3 as Darno strikes out.
He had the hook working.
I mean, that is just marvelous for McHugh. So happy to see that.
So he's pitching for the Astros, who need pitching, against Seattle. Very nice.
By the way, Seattle, 8 straight losses now.
You could see that you could see that coming.
How do you think Robbie Cano is feeling right about now? Now, twice a month he's feeling great, but what about the rest of the time?
15th and the 1st, he feels perfect.
Wow.
It's not as satisfying anymore because of the automatic deposit you can make now.
You're not satisfied though?
You mean the fact that it goes to ka-ching on your computer is not as good as having it in your hand? Tejada drew a bases loaded walk in the 4th inning. Mets got 2 runs in that fashion in that 4th. Most strikeouts in the Mets debut. Only Matt Harvey had more than 9 that McHugh put up against the Rockies in that first start. More than Seaver, more than Kuzman.
Bill Dennehy. No, the Dennehy.
Wasn't Bill Dennehy the guy the Mets traded to the Senators to get the rights to have Gil Hodges as their manager?
Maybe.
Bobby Abreu out on deck. He'll bat for the pitcher if Tejada keeps the inning going. Abreu got his first at bat as a Met last night and flied out. And the curveball fouled off. Mets have only had 4 hits tonight. Mets came into the game with a slugging percentage of .311, which is the lowest they've been at this point of a season since 1980. And yet, they're a 500 team. In fact, no team has had a slugging percentage that low and been 500 or better through 20 games since the 1984 Indians.
Oh. So 1980 Mets, you had Kelvin, Chapman, Wally Backman, I think, made the team in 80. Gardenhire made the team in 80. Mazzilli.
Was Hubie up then?
Hubie
Brooks?
Ronald McDonald played
80? No, 80.
Did Ronald McDonald play a little first base?
Hubie had the good year. What year was that?
79.
Little flare outside first. And Craig snags it. So 1-2-3 inning for Fornatero, and we go to the ninth. Kyle Farnsworth will be in to try and save it for New York with the Mets up 3-1. Picked up his first save for the Mets in the game on Monday night.
What's amazing about Kyle Farnsworth to me is that in his heyday of his macho type pitching of blowing people away, he forsook the ability to throw the ball where he wanted to. Now he's all about the placement of pitches. If the speed's there, the speed is there. The placement and where he throws the pitch is more important than how hard he throws it.
Not happy with the first baseball supplied to him by Marty Foster.
You know what's funny though? He warms up with the one ball, throws 8 to 9 pitches, and then doesn't like the baseball, gets a new one.
Maybe he's just trying to get some feeling in his fingers with those bare arms.
Right.
Shane Robinson leads off for the Cardinals in the ninth. This has been a minimalist series. Mets won 2-0 on Monday. Cardinals won 3-0 yesterday. Mets up 3-1 tonight.
Little slider for a strike.
Ronnie, he's just been downstairs, Farnsworth, and on the corners with his fastball, his slider. He's just, maybe he's lost that one of those guys that just learns how to pitch. as they get older. Always had to rely on that. I mean, he always threw that 98-mile-an-hour fastball, 100 mile an hour. So he's been good.
John Jay on deck, and then Matt Carpenter, 2 left-hand hitters behind Robinson. 1-1 from Farnsworth, and the slider on the corner.
3 in a row, 2 perfect on the corner. Shane Robinson looks something out of Sequest.
How do you breathe? 1-2. Wouldn't chase the slider. 2-2. Another bemasked Cardinal on deck. 48 degrees, gusty wind. Tough night at the office for everybody, but the Mets have had the advantage. 2-2 to Robinson. A little flare foul. Robinson 1 for 3 tonight and an infield single back in the second.
You have to say if Farnsworth lets one go right here, he can beat Robinson. All sliders to this point.
Again, the 2-2. And another breaking ball, and it's full count. Interesting.
It is interesting.
I mean, Robinson, not a big power hitter, and he can't beat you here. It's a 2-run game.
You got to challenge him here. You want to challenge him on the outer part and have a F8.
3-2 coming. Another breaking ball, and it's flared down the line and just foul. Do you understand what Farnsworth is doing?
I don't. I would think on a cool night like this, you would want to throw the fastball. What I'm thinking is that in the bullpen, he must have had a real good slider and decided, you know, I'm going to go out, I'm going to use that pitch tonight.
If you've thrown 7 straight sliders, is it hard to locate your fastball?
At this level, I would say no. I would aim right for the middle of the body of, and they're going to go back with a slider again. He told the young man that he was going to go with slider. I think personally in this ballpark, in a 3-1 lead, I'm throwing the ball in the outer half. I want him to hit a fly ball to center field, and if he takes me over the apple, so be it.
It's the same as a walk.
So be it.
9th inning gets the tying run to the plate. Same result.
A walk doesn't hurt your feelings as much.
I didn't realize it was such a sensitive game. This will be the 9th pitch of the at-bat and the 9th slider from Farnsworth to Robinson. And he struck him out.
Nice.
Well, he kept going back to the well, and the well was not dry.
This is a good one.
He's got a good feel for it, and it's a tiny one.
Out in front.
So 1 out in the 9th. And now John Jay up for the second time. Came in a double switch, grounded out in his only at bat.
He will bunt, by the way, and he will bring it towards Duda.
He just took a glance to see where David Wright is playing. And Farnsworth's first fastball misses. And Jay takes a strike on the inside. 1-1.
He's not happy with himself right there. That fastball he wanted away and got the inside corner. He was kind of chastising himself. Interesting. Perfectionist.
One and one to John Jay. Line to left, a base hit. And the Cardinals will get the tying run to bat in the 9th. So a 1-out single for Jay, and Matt Carpenter will come up. Carpenter already having a big night.
Well, that's your number 3 is your slide ball.
The one thing I don't like, do you see where those signs are? whenever you give signs as a catcher, you want to bury them in your crotch, if to use a worse word. Get them down there so no one can see them. He's putting them on top where the other team can see. That is not a good thing.
Carpenter 2 singles and a double tonight. He's used the whole ballpark. Jay goes diving back. If there's anything that should never happen for the Cardinals this year, they should never get a runner picked off in the 9th inning.
Yeah, right.
After Colton Wong was picked off to end Game 4 of the World Series. And Carpenter takes a backdoor strike.
How about those 2 games that were ended last year on a pickoff and an obstruction play? That's a ball, as it was.
Daniel Descalzo's come out on deck to bat for Mark Ellis. Jay at first and 1 out. 3-1 New York, 9th inning. And Carpenter lines one the other way, and that's a base hit. And now the Cardinals have the tying runs on base. 4th hit of the night for Matt Carpenter.
Well, that's just good hitting. That's the trouble when you think you can get that sinker and you want to get the left-hand hitter to roll over. But you got 2 hitters that go the other way, Jay and Carpenter. They're not home run hitters. They're base hit, line drive hitters.
Playing into their strength,
right into their strength. And they're there to set it up. Now they've done their job. They set the table now. While Ellis is not really, but you get Holiday to the plate if you stay out of 2.
Daniel Descalzo bats for Ellis. Descalzo's season off to a tough start. He did draw a walk, steal a base, and score a run last night. So now the tying runs on base, and it's getting a little dicier for Kyle Farnsworth. And Descalzo watches ball 1. Matt Holliday waiting on deck. There's nobody up in the Mets bullpen. This is Farnsworth's job now to be the Mets closer. One 1-0 to Descalzo. And that just missed. 2-0. So the hole getting a little deeper for Farnsworth by the moment.
I'd like to see Tejada play a little bit more to the opposite field here.
Yeah.
With these little ping hitters up right here going the other way up the middle. You got a guy trying to get a double play, a little sinker. Take that hole away. You got David in tight.
And Descalzo hits one deep to left center field, slicing toward the gap, and it's one hop against the wall. Jay scores. Here comes Carpenter. And the tag at the plate. He is out.
We're going to review that.
Darno makes the tag on Carpenter to keep the tying run from scoring, but we'll see if it stands scrutiny. Mike Matheny has not challenged a call yet this year. He's the only major league manager who has not. Did he have a lane to slide in? Was a tag actually made?
He had the lane to slide in, but I think the tag was late. Let's see if he tags him while he goes through. Yes, he does.
He got him.
Yep. He got him on the armpit.
Yes, he did.
What a tag.
Great call. Great tag by Darno. And Carpenter was out.
Yes, sir.
Whoa.
Marty Foster, the home plate umpire, right there. Good angle to see it. And he saw the tag on the back of Carpenter before he hit the plate. They're going to go to a review. But this should stand up. Play under review brought to you by Mazda. So a base hit for Descalzo. Scores a run to make it 3-2.
If they don't make this call right, Keith, we're going down to Park Avenue tonight.
Well, there's no
right.
There's no way there's clear and convincing evidence against. In fact, there appears to be convincing evidence to confirm.
Yep.
The only thing they could say, is that the ball might have been rolling around in Darno's glove when he made the tag. That's about the only nitpick that they might find.
Can we say one thing of importance here and praise. Excellent fundies by the Metsies.
Yeah.
Perfect relay throw in, perfect both ways. And here's the play again. Yes, sir. He's out. Nice play by d'Arnaud. Nice throw from Tejada. Nice relay throw from Chris Young.
That new tag for the catcher with the allowing the runner that open space has become a dive tag. That's really what it's become. It isn't a sweep tag. It is a dive tag.
And he had lane to slide, Gary.
And they confirm the out. So now there are 2 out of the 9th. So Matheny's first challenge of the year comes up empty, and the call stands.
Now, here's the thing that I don't like, is that Farnsworth has had to sit out there for, what, 3-4 minutes? 3 minutes, 2 minutes? That's what I don't like. He's got Holiday up, he's got another out to get, Ronnie.
Yeah, well, especially in the cold weather. But in the same instance, maybe the adrenaline certainly can take him through, but still in a spot of bother. Great job by Nieuwenhuis. See with the bare hand?
Yeah, Nieuwenhuis made
it. Sorry.
It's Nieuwenhuis that made the throw. My mistake.
And Tejada, that was a tough relay for Tejada. Had to turn all the way around.
Perfect. Excellent fundies.
I just think the tag by d'Arnaud, usually when you make that swipe tag, Gary, and he gets by you, that's a run. But he kept it going all the way around to catch him on the back of the armpit.
So it's an RBI double for Descalso. 8-6-2 on the play at the plate. Tying run at second, 2 out, top of the 9th. Holiday 0 for 3 and a walk tonight. And he swings and misses at a fastball. That's the first legit fastball Farnsworth thrown tonight.
He knows this is the big out. He wanted it away, up, in, belt high, and beats him.
If I had been watching that first at-bat against Robinson, I would have been sitting on slider for first pitch. He throws that fastball right by him.
Farnsworth had to wait around for a couple of minutes while they were reviewing that last play. And he came out with his best fastball yet. Descalso at second, 2 down. And Holiday hits it in the air to right. Granderson moving over, catching it with the wind. And he made the catch! And the ball game is over. On a windy night, a wind-blown fly ball ends it, as Granderson able to keep track of it all the way into the right field corner. Terrific play by Curtis as that wind kept working that ball away from him. Farnsworth saves it. Mets play some terrific defense in that 9th inning. The relay and then that final catch, and the Mets win it 3-2.
Well, when I look at this ball game, I'll look at Jonathan Neese was better than an unhittable Waka for the St. Louis Cardinals. Waka only lasted into 4 innings, but struck out 10 New York batters. But I think it was Jonathan Neese was the rudder of this ship in the game, and just, Keith, enough offense to get by.
Well, I tell you what, the Mets took advantage of Walker in that 1 inning, the 2 runs in the 4th, where he got wild with the conditions out here, and so he came in here with only 3 walks prior. So they got enough runs. It's all about outscoring the other team. Defense and pitching. Mets do it again.
Well, there's your game summary. Neese gets his first victory of the season, going 6 2/3. Bullpen not quite spotless. Farnsworth gave up a run in the 9th, but the Mets keep the tying run from scoring with a great relay from Nieuwenhuis to Tejada and to d'Arnaud, who made the terrific tag to keep the game from being tied. For every Mets win, the Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to the Cats Women's Hospital and the Cats Institute for Women's Health. For more information, visit northshorelij.com/KIWH. The win brings the total contribution so far this season to $27,500. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by your Tri-State Cadillac dealer. Visit CadillacTristate.com to search local offers and to find a local dealer near you. By Geico and by Lexus, introducing a car designed with one purpose: to stand apart. The 2014 Lexus IS. It's your move. Now it took perfect execution here. Tejada with a tough catch and turn. Got it to d'Arnaud on time, and d'Arnaud with a beautiful tag on Carpenter before his hand hit the plate to keep the tying run from scoring. And the Mets hang on for a 3-2 win over to St. Louis. And they've now taken 2 out of 3 in this series. Curtis Granderson with those 40-mile-an-hour gusts making sure with 2 hands for the final out. And the Mets win it 3-2. Final game of the series tomorrow afternoon as the Mets go for the series victory with Bartolo Colon against Lance Lynn. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 right here on SNY. Now for Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Time for WB Mason Postgame Live. Let's join Gary Apple and Bobby Ojeda in the studio.